previous record. Passenger tally in 1 year was 49.7 million in 2018. The Clark County Department of Aviation counted nearly 4.25 million arriving and departing passengers in December, up 9% from the same month in 2018. With a check on our weather, here's News 3's Kelly Curran.
We're looking at mainly sunny skies across the area today. Temperatures nice and mild, topping out in the mid-60s, and winds today out of the north at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Some stronger gusts expected along the Colorado River Valley. Keep listening for more updates throughout the day from News 3, your weather authority.
Partly cloudy and 50 in Las Vegas. I'm John Schaefer on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON, Las Vegas' only FM news talk station. With a look at the roads, here's John Michaels.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Staples. A crash on the 95 southbound approaching the Spaghetti Bowl, blocking the HOV. Slowing is still from the Rainbow Curve, and on 95 in the East Valley northbound. Nice recovery, almost a complete recovery. There's still light slowing between Charleston and the Spaghetti Bowl. And on the 215 Southern Beltway in southwest Las Vegas, slowing out of the Durango Curve, continues over to Decatur Boulevard. At Staples, there's a whole lot more in store, like a huge selection of ink and toner in stock and at low prices every day. Stock up for the new year at Staples. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their New Year sale.
I'm Jim Snyder.
And I'm Marie Mortera. We want to thank you for making News 3 your #1 choice for news.
Every weeknight at 11, you can count on us to have the big story of the day.
Plus breaking news that matters to you.
Jim Snyder and Marie Mortera. News 3 live at 11.
Travis Scribner, managing partner of Westpac Wealth Partners, interviews some of the most successful business owners for insight into what makes both them and their business run. Tune in every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON, or podcasts on iTunes.
Hi, I'm Raymond Denon, Vice President of Optima Tax Relief. If you're in debt to the IRS, there's a lot you need to know. Starting with rule number 1, don't mess with the IRS. They can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, even take your home or business. That's all true. But it's also true that there's a way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. It's one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, even tens of thousands. Nobody knows this program like us, the experts at Optima Tax Relief. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and we've resolved over $500 million in tax debt for our clients. We'll stand between you and the IRS and fight to get you the best deal possible. Don't mess with the IRS. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima for a free consultation.
Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you own a business and want to bring attention to it, there's no better way than wrapping your vehicles. While you or your employees are driving around Vegas, let your vehicles scream about your products or services. Share with everyone on the road why you're so special. With a single vehicle wrap getting anywhere from 30,000 to 80,000 views per day, according to the Outdoor Advertising Association of America. Turn your vehicles into an amazing, spectacular moving billboard. Let Intershine Graphics show you how with the best wrap in the business. Go to IntershineGraphics.com. IntershineGraphics.com.
SportsX Radio Nation, what's up? It's Ken Thompson, host of SportsX Radio, reminding you to catch me at my new time, 8 to 10 p.m. for all the local Vegas sports coverage, plus the national scene as well. That's SportsX Radio on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON, the talk of Las Vegas. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, what's up, Las Vegas? It is Thursday, and it is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us. Oh, yeah, we got a jam-packed show lined up for you today. We're going to get to the impeachment trial here in just a few minutes, but some great guests lined up. As I mentioned, one of my favorite reality shows in the history of television and one of the most successful shows, Pawn Stars, right here in Las Vegas. Right there, a couple blocks down the road from Fremont Street. Rick Harrison will be joining us from Pawn Stars. coming up here at the bottom of the hour. There are a lot of Kobe Bryant stories that this show alone has debunked. There are people that are calling for TMZ to go off the air. Now there are the people that run this helicopter company, Sikorsky, urging customers to install crash warning systems. But we had Kobe Bryant's former pilot on yesterday that said the opposite, that it wouldn't have helped. So we'll get to that coming up. And Mr. X, also known as the Hollywood conservative, will be joining us. Going to ask him about Kobe and, of course, Harvey Weinstein, Don Lemon. Plenty of issues to get to with him. Hour number 3, Darcy Spears, the Dirty Dining segment from Channel 13, will be joining us. And a really weird story coming out of UNLV. A UNLV football player, a senior, had a heart attack while working out. It kind of raises some eyebrows. I'll explain what that means. And then Larry Neumeister from the Associated Press will be joining us. He's covering the Michael Avenatti Nike case. So we'll get the latest on that as well. So as I said, jam-packed show, a lot to get to, a lot to go over. Also, another teacher in a classroom calling Kobe Bryant a racist. We played one yesterday. We got another one today. These teachers need to be fired, period. We'll talk about that coming up in hour number 2. All right, let's start with this impeachment trial. Listen, my opinions on this trial haven't changed from the beginning. They haven't changed from the beginning. And it's pretty simple. Get to the truth, regardless of what the Democrats want. Now, what do the Democrats want? Obviously, they want Donald Trump out of office. I think any reasonable human being would say that. What do Republicans want? Republicans want to make sure that that doesn't happen, that Trump remains in office. Sadly, I think what Americans are tired of, it's not necessarily the impeachment, they're tired of politics as usual. They're tired of people going on party lines. That's what Americans, I believe, are tired of. I can't stand it when I hear people on Fox News say, Americans want this impeachment trial to be over with. Well, Fox News, you don't speak for me. I'm an American. Who are you polling? People that watch Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham? Of course they want it to be over tomorrow. But there are things going on in this trial that are beyond ridiculous, besides the fact that the Republicans are trying to block witnesses from testifying. How can you call it a trial with no witnesses? It's not a trial, it's a sham. Or as Donald Trump would say, witch hunt. We want to know the truth. We want all the evidence to come forward, whether that's text messages, paperwork, and witnesses. The American people deserve to know, if not for these lame duck senators. But now we have a guy, you've heard of him before, a man on the Trump defense team. He defended O.J. Simpson. He defended Harvey Weinstein. And he has ties to Jeff Epstein. So that resume alone shows that he's a wonderful person. Talking, of course, about Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz spoke yesterday in the defense of Donald Trump in this trial in front of senators. And his explanation of no quid pro quo is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard any attorney say in my life. He's talking about the president, and he said he believes, since the president thought it was in the country's best interest for him to be reelected in 2020, that there couldn't be a quid pro quo. That's right, folks. I'm not making this up. Have a listen to this audio of Alan Dershowitz and his explanation yesterday during the Senate trial.
Every public official that I know believes that his election is in the public interest. And mostly you're right. Your election is in the public interest. And if a president does something which he believes will help him get elected in the public interest, that cannot be the kind of quid pro quo that results in impeachment.
Okay, have you ever heard anything more ridiculous in your life? Start off, forget you're a Republican if you are. Forget you're a Trump supporter if you are. Do you understand the ridiculous argument that Alan Dershowitz, it's almost like Alan Dershowitz in the O.J. trial if he said, O.J. couldn't have killed Nicole because he loved her. It wasn't in the family's best interest for him to decapitate Nicole Brown Simpson. He couldn't have murdered her. It's the same argument. It's that ridiculous. He's saying that since Donald Trump believed in his narcissistic head, him running in 2020 is in the country's best interest, it couldn't be a quid pro quo. How can anybody, and I mean anybody, go along with that type of ridiculous argument? I guess there are some people that agree with him. Can I remind everybody, by the way, when we talk about the majority of the public, and I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. The majority of Americans, I'm talking about several million of them, voted for Hillary Clinton. More than they voted for Donald Trump. So this idea that the majority of the country want Donald Trump in 2020 is a lie, and I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. Again, Donald Trump did not get the majority of votes in this country in 2016, and I don't think he's going to get the majority of votes in 2020, no matter who is running up against Donald Trump. That means the majority of the country, they're not voting for Donald. So this idea that it's in the best public interest, and this idea that Republicans want to put forward in this trial, I can't stand it when I hear people making appearances on the right that say, well, you know, the economy is great, you know, the stock market is fantastic, he's the best president, you know, ever. By the way, that is completely academic to this trial. And I mean completely academic to this trial. The unemployment numbers and how the economy is doing and how some of his policies are working has absolutely zero bearing to this trial. Why? Because this trial isn't a popularity contest. It's not trying to figure out how popular Donald Trump is and his chances of winning the re-election in 2020. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with 2016. Nothing. Make no mistake about it. This trial has everything to do with whether or not Donald Trump committed high crimes and misdemeanors. That is exactly what this trial is about. And without getting all the evidence, without getting all the information, without having witnesses testify, without getting text messages, without getting the paperwork that the Democrats have asked for, we're never going to know the truth. Isn't that what this is all about? Isn't that what trials are all about? Trying to find out the truth, whether the defendant committed a crime or not. Trying to figure out whether there is guilt or not. Getting the most information. You can talk about the Constitution and you can talk about executive privilege, but in layman's terms, the bottom line is it's not a trial unless witnesses are called. Period. You can give me all the legal jargon crap you want. The bottom line is if you're not calling witnesses, it's not a trial. Number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-257-5396. Again, that number, your thoughts on this, your thoughts on Dershowitz, Dirty Dershowitz, as I would like to call him. This is a guy who's defended O.J. Simpson. This is a guy who's defended Harvey Weinstein. He also has ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And this is the guy that's defending Donald Trump. Do you believe him? What do you think about this? What do you think about the fact that he's making the argument yesterday there can't be a quid pro quo because Trump believes that it's in the public's best interest for him to run for re-election in 2020 and win? Can't be a quid pro quo. It is the dumbest argument I have ever heard in my life from any attorney. And I mean any attorney. It's that bad. And Alan Dershowitz is an embarrassment to law. He is an embarrassment. Again, that number to call is 702-257-5396. Again, 257-5396 if you do want to be a part of this conversation. Let's start off with Donald. Donald, you're first up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Yeah, hey, Brian, I just wanted to bring up a point. I've heard you say countless times on the air about Hillary winning the popular vote.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to point out that the popular vote doesn't decide anything. I think it's kind of a moot point that you make.
No, I don't think it's a moot point at all, and I'll tell you why I bring it up, Donald. And by the way,
Okay.
I do know how the law works. I do understand that. But the bottom line is more people voted for Hillary Clinton than they voted for Donald Trump. Period. So what is that?
Yeah,
So hold
I
on.
get that.
Okay. So I don't think you do get it. There's a reason why I bring that up. It's very simple. So hold on.
Here, I got an idea what you're going to say. I mean, I want to ask you one quick question.
Hold on. Let me just quickly say it, and then you could ask me your question.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to speak slowly here. It means more people voted for Hillary than Donald. It means more people supported Hillary. Do you not understand that?
No, I do. But
how is that not relevant? So how is that?
How many times did... Well, are you going to let me talk, or are you going to keep interrupting me?
Well, you said something, and you said you didn't understand why I brought it up, and now all of a sudden, 20 seconds later, you're saying you do understand? You're not making any
do,
sense.
But let me ask you a question here to put this into context, since you seem to have a hard time doing any of that type of stuff.
Oh, I have a hard
time.
what do you mean? Well, hold on a second. What do you mean? You're not going to insult me. What do you mean I have a hard time putting things in context? I'm just making no. I just made a very simple point on this show. More people voted for Hillary Clinton than Donald Trump. Please explain to me how I'm having a hard time putting something into context when you don't seem to understand the point I'm making.
Because you're ignoring the simple fact that the popular vote doesn't decide who's the president.
When did I say, excuse me, when did I say that the popular vote decides who's president? I understand how it works.
Okay,
I'm making.
Let me ask you a question, Brian, real quick.
How did I not?
Ask you a simple question.
Okay, but don't insult me when you're the one saying stupid things, not me. You're the one not understanding me. Okay.
That's your opinion.
No, it'd be anybody's opinion that's logical. Go ahead, Donald.
A typical Democrat.
Ask your. Okay, and there's something else that you said that's not factual. Would you like to say anything else? Do you know what my voting record is? You assume because. Excuse me.
I want to ask you one question.
Okay,
you won't even let me.
Then stop saying. Okay, well, stop saying stupid things then. Okay, you just said I'm a Democrat. Do you know what my voting record is?
Anyway.
No. There is no anyway. No. No. Pot him down. You see, when you keep saying dumb things that don't make sense, like I'm a Democrat, because you don't like the things I say about your boy Donald Trump every day, that makes you sound like an idiot. When you say things like, Brian, don't you understand how the voting works? You know, popular vote doesn't mean anything. I never said the popular vote is who wins the presidency. The point I was trying to make was when people say the majority of this country, they want Donald Trump in office. That's not true. And you can go back to 2016 where more people voted for Hillary Clinton than Donald Trump. Now, I will bring you back on the air unless you say something else that is not factual or ignorant. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question. One quick question.
I can't wait.
Answer it, and we'll go from there.
I can't wait.
How many times did Donald Trump campaign in California during the 2016 campaign cycle?
Don't know exactly how many times he campaigned in California. No idea.
He campaigned 0 times.
Okay, and how is that relevant? And how is that relevant to this conversation? Hillary Clinton didn't go into a lot of different battleground states that she should have. She didn't campaign very well. So what's your point?
Well, you can say that. My point is that when the popular vote seems to matter to all these Democrats, had he campaigned in California, he most likely would have won that too.
You're making a gross assumption, and you don't know that for a fact.
But
no.
Brian,
yeah. Donald. Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah. Donald.
You're making the same assumption that says, well, Hillary won the popular vote because more Americans
It's very
voted.
simple.
Yes,
it's very simple.
More Americans voted for her, but it makes no difference. It's kind of like the football team who gets the most first
Okay,
down
so let me ask you a question.
The game.
Yeah,
Are you going to say, well,
that's a great sports.
may have lost on Sunday, but they got more first downs.
That's a great sports. That's a great sports analogy, Donald. You sound like Laura Ingraham. Can you name 3 players on the 49ers? Yeah, exactly. Get the hell off my show, you dummy. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Al. Al, you're next up on the Vegas Take. Go ahead, Al. What's on your mind?
Good morning, guys. Well, I'm a little worried now about asking my question because you seem to be a bit wound up.
No, Al, here's the deal, my friend. Al.
Just because of the last caller.
Al, I will treat Al. Hold on. I'll treat you with respect, Al. Sorry to interrupt you. The guy started off insulting me, labeling me. When anybody does that, that's when I go off, Al. You can ask me any question you want, my friend, as long as you're respectful. I got no problem.
You've always been very respectful with me, and so I'm just kidding around.
Well, you're probably a reasonable guy. That's why.
Yeah, I think what he may have been trying to say, not to defend that guy in any way, because I really care less, but I think he was trying to say that because he won California or lost California and New York, and it's so heavily populated that maybe skewed the popular vote. I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, it's possible.
I did want to say this.
It's possible, Al, but let me just respond and say this. The facts are the facts, and the facts are that more Americans voted for Hillary than Donald. I think we're very divided.
1,000% correct.
And Al, this is the point I'm trying to make. We're very divided as a country. I believe around half the country, maybe more, dislikes Donald Trump. So when people make the argument, which is the point I was trying to make, that the majority of the country, they just want this impeachment to be over tomorrow, let Donald Trump do his thing, I don't think that's factually accurate. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Well, this is the reason I called and the point I wanted to make, and then I'll go and I'll let you discuss it. And but I think it's important that you be careful in the sense that what you're saying, and I don't agree with the clip you played of Alan Dershowitz and how he characterized things. I think he sounded really he did sound like a Harvard law professor at that point.
Yeah, we agree.
But I will say this: you're calling him names and you're listing the people he's defended.
Yep.
You've had people like our former mayor on your show who defended bloody murderers, and you speak highly of that gentleman. So I would say that we need to really look at it for what it is. And I get that it's radio and it's part of the show, and you want to get conversation going. But I think it's a little bit disingenuous to talk about his list of clients when everybody deserves a defense.
Well,
regardless of how,
my comment on Oscar Goodman is you're absolutely right. He's defended many mobsters. He's defended many people in the mob. But the point I'm trying to make now is, Oscar Goodman is not relevant in the sense that he's not defending those people anymore, and he hasn't for years. Harvey Weinstein is certainly in the news right now, and that was not very long ago where Alan Dershowitz defended Harvey Weinstein. Also, he has ties to Jeff Epstein. We all know that was relevant in the news as of late. And, the bottom line is when you talk about Oscar Goodman, he hasn't represented a mobster in a very, very long time. Doesn't mean I agree with him representing those sorts of people. But at the same time, we had Oscar Goodman on the show yesterday to talk about Kobe Bryant, not to talk about people he defended. And the reason why I'm bringing up Alan Dershowitz, and by the way, I've never spoken about Alan Dershowitz before. The reason why I'm bringing him up today is because of the comments he made yesterday, and it's a credibility issue.
I understand. So 10 years down the road, then Alan Dershowitz gets a pass because those people won't be in the news anymore?
Well, I won't be talking about Alan Dershowitz on the show because it won't be relevant. The only reason why I'm talking about him on the air right now, Al, to be perfectly honest with you, is because of the comments he made yesterday. Otherwise, I could care less about Alan Dershowitz. I'm just being completely as honest with you as much as I can, but I do appreciate the phone call. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Jennifer. Jennifer, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's up?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Alan Dershowitz is very respected. He's been on all the live shows for years at CNN, and the Democrats love him until now. And last week, I believe it was in the Wall Street Journal, and it's been mentioned many times, Hillary did not win that popular
Yes, she
vote.
did. Yes, she did.
Like
It's a
7
fact.
million votes were like illegal aliens.
There are no facts.
Yeah,
No, Jennifer. There are
studies.
no, Jennifer. And what study? InfoWars did a study. There's no, Jennifer. I'm sorry, Jennifer. I appreciate the phone call. With all due respect, we're not going to go with right-wing conspiracy theories. You're taking that from the Donald Trump playbook. There's no evidence to support that there were fake 7 million votes. I don't know where you're getting that information from. No idea. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Linda. Linda, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's up?
Hi. All I just wanted to say is one thing about Alan Dershowitz. I'm sure you know this, but just in case. He is a Democrat, and he did vote for Hillary.
Yeah, I could care less about that. But, whatever his voting record is, I really don't care. I'm just going by what he said yesterday. So let me ask you this, Linda, since we have you on the line. What do you think about him saying yesterday that since Donald Trump believes that it's in the best public interest for him to run in 2020, that there can't be a quid pro quo? I would hope you don't agree with that.
Well, I really don't know much about the legal aspects of all this to even comment. I just, hope, we get to the bottom of it and everything comes out.
Well, I do too, Linda. We agree on that. We both want to hear the truth. I agree. Thank you for the call, Linda. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Doug. Doug, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
By the way, I don't know how you deal with some of your callers. God bless you for all the patience you have.
No problem.
During Trump's administration, he actually clamped down on aid to the Triangle countries that were not helping us with the immigration problem.
Right.
I think I agree with you completely. I won't be happy as a supporter of the conservative movement if this is just dropped and there's no witnesses.
Yeah, I agree.
If you play it out and it turns out that, listen, this happens in the presidency a lot. You say, listen, I want to go get those MFers because they're doing this or that.
Right.
And it's for a real reason that he was worried about corruption in Ukraine, which there is.
Right.
But you and I both know that the man in the White House does not have the tact or the political skills or knowledge to handle it properly.
Yeah,
and if it was handled improperly and illegally,
exactly.
I'm sorry. Throw the book at him.
Doug, it's so simple. Let me ask you a two-part question here. First of all, if he was so innocent, wouldn't he want to make Democrats look dumb and get all the evidence out there and let witnesses testify, number one? I mean, number two, have you ever heard of a trial that didn't have witnesses? It's not a trial when there's no witnesses.
I agree with you on both counts, and I think I think if you sat down and asked the president whether he would like all the facts to come out, I don't really think he's the one that doesn't want to vote. I think he wants himself to be exonerated completely and have all the witnesses.
Yeah, listen,
I
Doug.
think he does.
You're right, Doug. Those are some good points there. I hope that we can hear all those witnesses, because if he did not break the law, I want to know about it. I want to know the facts. Let's go to Elle. Elle, you're next up in the Vegas Take. What's going on, Elle?
Good morning, Brian. Long
Morning.
time. You know what? You're the best. I try to listen to these people, but this is what I would do if I'm the Democrats, because you could see the fixes in. They don't want witnesses. I think they have enough votes to block it. So if I'm the Democrats, I'd just say, you know what? We're not going to go. No more questions today, because he's not going anywhere. You guys are going to exonerate him. And why keep the charade going? And did you hear about this place in Cleveland where they were actually paying black voters to vote for Trump? So he's all over the country with the corruption, not just at the White House. So what do you think about the Democrats just saying, scrap this? We know where it's going. And a lot of the voters are saying, we want witnesses.
It's a good question, Elle, and I'm going to give you my best honest answer. I don't care if the Republicans want to call Hunter Biden or Hillary Clinton or Kanye West. Let the Republicans call whoever they want to call if it means that we're going to get down to the truth. If they want to smear the Bidens, so be it. They're the ones that are going to show that they have no class. As long as we get down to the truth and find out if the president broke the law or not, as long as we get Bolton on the stand, as long as we get Mulvaney and Pompeo on the stand, put them under oath, put them in that situation, and if Republicans want to call people that have absolutely nothing to do with this trial, let them do it. That's what I said.
I agree with you, but we're not going to get our wish. But
Sadly, you're probably right.
Your opinion.
Thank you, Elle. I appreciate it. I've got about 30 seconds for Brian. Brian, I apologize. I'm up against a hard break, my man, but you got 30 seconds. Go ahead. Okay, he just lost his 30 seconds. There you go, Brian. We got you back on. Go ahead, Brian.
I just want to know how you confuse the popular vote with the way people feel about this trial in the country. I have a really diverse group of friends, and nobody, Democrat or Republican, agrees with this.
Okay, well, I don't know who your friends are, but I can tell you right now that there are many people that I know that are tired of politics in Washington. They're tired of both sides of the aisle playing games, and they want to know the truth. They want to know if the president committed a crime or not. That's all. It's as simple as that. So your friends, I guess, are different than my friends. Perhaps your friends watch Fox News 24/7 and listen to the evil, racist witch Laura Ingraham. My friends don't do that. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the Pawn Star's very own Rick Harrison coming up next.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-244-6060. That's 800-244-6060. 800-244-6060. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Special report, Trump impeachment trial. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is rejecting the arguments of the president's defender, Alan Dershowitz, that a president can do whatever is necessary to gain re-election because he believes that is in the best interest of the nation.
The president seems to be emulating a French king who said, "L'État, c'est moi." The state, it's me. No. Article 2 does not say you can do whatever you want. The Constitution does not say that.
More from correspondent Jerry Boglander on Capitol Hill.
Another 8 hours of questions from senators to the House impeachment managers and the president's defense team is set for today. But the big question is whether the Senate will hear from witnesses. Democrats want former National Security Advisor John Bolton to testify. Republican leaders are pushing hard to defeat that effort, and if they do, they could move very quickly to acquit the president.
That vote could come as early as tomorrow. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Upwork. The crash on the 95 southbound at the Spaghetti Bowl blocking the right lane. Now traffic is still heavy from the Rainbow Curve to the scene. And I-15 southbound delays are still slow and go from Lake Mead Boulevard to Sahara, and a crash reported at Sahara. And also an accident on 15 northbound near the Southern Beltway. Upwork has the largest network of independent professionals like designers, developers, data scientists, you name it. When you need in-demand talent on demand, Upwork is how. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Pros do it right by shopping at Lowe's to save on the supplies they need most from the brands they trust to get the job done. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's.
Discover why Audible is the best way to stay informed, inspired, and entertained. Right now, save $50 on your first year of Audible at audible.com. You get to choose any 12 audiobooks so you can listen to bestsellers and hear leading experts on topics like finance, fitness, relationships, and more. Listening is the new reading, and right now, your first year is just $99.50. That's a $50 savings. But hurry, it ends January 31st. Visit audible.com today.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, so glad you could join us on a Thursday. Again, we'll get more into this Kobe Bryant stuff coming up at the bottom of the hour. A lot of myths, truths, and false stuff being put out there. I'll explain what that means coming up a little bit later. Listen, I'm an avid fan of reality television, right? But there's not a lot of reality shows that I've watched on a regular basis. But the guy we have on the line with us right now arguably has the most successful and has had the most successful reality television show in the history of TV. And he lives right here in Las Vegas. Of course, we're talking about the show Pawn Stars. I love it. And he is Rick Harrison. He joins us right now on the line. Rick, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely great. We're filming season 17 as I speak. So as soon as I get off the phone with you, I go down and film.
That's right. And, of course, Pawn Stars can be seen Mondays at 10 p.m. Pacific time on the History Channel. I know you got this History Con event that I want to talk about coming up in April. I want to ask you this, Rick. If we rewind 20 years and somebody went up to you and said, hey, Rick, you're going to have one of the most successful reality shows in the history of television, what would you have said?
I would have said, who is this crazy person and what is he talking about?
Did you, are you amazed at how this show has evolved and what it has turned into and the celebrity that you are now? I mean, do you ever have to blink a couple times and say, wow, this is, I still can't believe this happened?
Yeah, it's really, really weird. I mean, when I was pitching the show, I was hoping to get a season or two to help business out a little bit. I never thought I'd be on television in 150 countries in 38 languages and literally having to have security in Rome and Malaysia because I'm just getting mobbed all the time.
So you're a good person to ask this question, right? We're talking a lot, all week about the horrible tragedy of what took place with Kobe Bryant. And I see so many fakes online, fake autographs, fake memorabilia. You have to deal with this sort of thing in your business all the time, right? You have to check and make sure that it's legit. So can you talk a little bit about that and all the scumbags that, not only some of them that I would sure come into your store and try to sell you fake crap, but just the way people handle tragedy and some of these people, a small...
Well, it happens all the time. It's just it's just something we have to deal with, and then people will make fake certificates of authenticity. It's still a piece of paper. Unless it's my PSA or it's my Beckett authentications, I wouldn't touch it. I don't touch anything. If those are the only two I trust, period.
That's so interesting because there are a lot of people that are getting scammed out there. What advice would you give to them?
Well, don't buy it unless it has, don't go online and buy some Kobe Bryant memorabilia on a guy off eBay who's got 3 feedbacks from selling teen babies.
Right.
If you buy anything, make sure there's only 2 authentication companies that I trust their paperwork. PSA and Beckett Authentications. Those are the only two I like.
And I know a lot of people would agree with you on that. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars. Okay, who is the most famous person that you met that you've always wanted to meet because of who you are and because of your show? Like, can you give me a story of somebody that you met or maybe even became friends with because of your hit show?
There's been a ton of people. I've met so many people over the years from being on this show. Mark Levin is a friend of mine. I have a bunch of rock stars. It's really weird becoming a celebrity when you're in your 40s, because I didn't become famous until I was in my 40s. And but over the years, I've met just about everybody, and it's a lot of interesting people from a lot of different walks of life.
Isn't it amazing how many people that go to your store on a regular basis, you know, that would never walk into a Pawn Star to begin with, maybe, and they just go to your store because they're such a fan of yours? Does that get a little bit annoying, though, at times, that people just want to go in there and just want to take a picture with you or meet you and maybe
No, not at all. I mean, I get 3,000 people a day in the pawn shop.
Wow.
I'm the number one non-gaming tourist attraction in Las Vegas.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievably incredible. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about this HistoryCon event that you're doing. It's taking place April 3rd through the 5th at the Pasadena Convention Center. Tell me a little bit about this.
It's a really cool event. History Channel is having its 25th anniversary, and so they're having HistoryCon. It's like a Comic-Con, but they're going to have a ton of all the talent from the different shows on history, like Danny Coker from Counting Cars. He's also a local, and people from Swamp People, American Pickers. Me and Corey are going to be there. There's going to be a ton of interactive history things that you can there. There's going to be a bunch of historians speaking and authors. I'm going to be on some panels where, like, I'm literally talking to the audience about American history.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to be a really fun, nerdy weekend.
I'm all for that because I'm very nerdy, so I'll definitely be there. Rick, I want to ask you, you know, the misconception maybe about some reality shows is that everything is scripted. A lot of people talk about the Kardashian show, which, by the way, I can't watch because I think I just can't watch it. I think it's awful. There's a lot of reality TV out there I really don't like. I've always appreciated your show because it's real. So can you talk to me about how much of your show is scripted at all, if anything?
No, I mean, I literally, the items I film with, I don't see them until right as we start filming. That's when I first see them. You know, I have an idea of what's going to be on the show because we have to filter out stuff that, because we've done over, 500 episodes. So we don't want to have the same stuff over and over and over. But, before the show, before I see it, the only thing I saw is like a 2-inch by 2-inch picture. That's all I get to see before I see it. And I literally go out there and say what I know about it. And sometimes, sometimes when we film, I'm like, we're gonna have to stop for a second. I have to go check. I have to go check on this, this, and this. But no, that's really me on the show. I really am that nerd.
I think that's one of the reasons why you're so successful with this show is because it is real. Are there any other reality shows out there that you are a fan of that you watch on a regular basis? I mean,
I really don't watch television. That's the problem.
You really don't.
I go home and I read a book.
That's incredible. How did you get to know Mark Levin? Because Levin is on our radio station 3 to 6 p.m. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was a fan of my show, and we just ended up becoming friends. I've been on his show a bunch of times. I've been on his show. I've had an hour-long interview on television with him and on the show. No, he's just a great guy. I really like him.
Any presidents that you've met that you've had a chance to talk to that you could share with us?
I've met Trump a few times.
How's that gone?
It's gone great. He's, believe it or not, the White House staff ended up, I was supposed to announce him at a rally, and the White House staff screwed up with the Secret Service. So the White House staff knew I was supposed to show up, but the Secret Service didn't, so they wouldn't let me back. I ended up having to leave. He literally called me up and apologized up and down.
Did he really? Wait, Donald Trump apologized?
I'm completely serious. He apologized up and down, said it was all their fault. He was really sorry. Please come back down. I am not BSing.
I believe you.
He apologized up and down to me, which I thought was really, really incredible.
Because maybe that's a misconception with Donald Trump that he doesn't normally apologize for things. The fact that he apologized to you is that might be a rare occurrence. I don't know, but that's nice to hear. It's nice to hear.
Yeah, I mean, and we ended up going down there, and my son met him, I've met Bill Clinton before, I've had I've met a lot of different people in my life.
Yeah, well, you know what? You certainly deserve to, with all your success and everything you've done in your career. I guess this would be my last question for you, Rick. Can you tell me about this new season? Tell me the times that it airs and when the first episode will be shown. And I would imagine down the road, this will not be the last season. I would imagine you're still going to be doing this for many, many years to come. At least I would hope, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the show's on Monday nights, Monday night, 10 o'clock on History Channel. If you haven't watched the show in a while, it's an hour-long format now, so I get to do a lot more cool stuff. And, like this coming up episode, I filmed with an Apple I computer, which I thought was incredibly cool. It was like literally one of the computers that Wozniak and Jobs built in their garage.
Wow. All right, I lied. One more question. What is the most expensive thing you own yourself personally, whether it's a piece of memorabilia? What is the most expensive item that you have?
The most valuable thing I have, I'm just going to say my wife.
Well, of course. You can't buy her.
No, but I have so much cool, weird stuff. I mean, probably some of my books. I collect books on alchemy.
Yeah.
So like the 1519 Pantheos Arts of the Transmutation of Metals.
Oh my God! How do you get your hands on that?
I scour the world for these books. I have the 1602 Elixir Vital, which has all the formulas for immortality in it.
Oh my God! You might be the only.
Those are the kinds of books I collect.
You might be the only person that has those books. That's unbelievable. Well, Rick, my man, we're very lucky that you call Las Vegas your home. You do your show here out of Las Vegas. And I really appreciate you taking some time to join us. And also check him out, history.com event, which sounds very awesome, April 3rd through the 5th. Listen, Rick, I appreciate you coming on, my man. Hopefully we can have you on again sometime. Thanks for your time.
All right, thanks for having me.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
There you go. Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars. It is a really cool show, and I'm being genuine when I say, and I'm not a big reality TV guy. I never have been. But I'm being genuine when I say I appreciate the fact that most of that show is real. It's not scripted. As you just heard from Rick Harrison, I also like the show Bar Rescue. I almost call him Jake Tapper. It's John Tapper. John Tapper. That's also a great show. I like real reality TV, and I believe those two shows are real, and those are my two favorite reality shows on television. No question about it. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are here to debunk several Kobe Bryant stories that are out there. How are we going to debunk them? Because of the guest we've had on our own show this week. I'll explain what I mean by that coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Hi, I'm Dave Mizrahi, owner of Best Mattress. At our President's Day sale, save up to $1,800 on the brands you know and trust. Serta, Sealy, Beautyrest, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. Plus, get a free adjustable base with your Queen mattress purchase of $599 or more. And pay no down and no interest for 24 months. Whether you're rah-rah for Reagan, mad for Madison, crazy for Carter, or gaga for Garfield, save big at the big President's Day sale at Best Mattress. Sleep easy, friends. See store for details.
Tina Trenner is back, and she's on 720 AM, 101.5 FM, KDWN every Sunday at 12 p.m. She's sick of the nonsense and has something to say every Sunday at 12 p.m.
I'm Jim Snyder.
And I'm Marie Mortera. We want to thank you for making News 3 your #1 choice for news.
Every weeknight at 11, you can count on us to have the big story of the day.
Plus breaking news that matters to you.
Jim Snyder and Marie Mortera, News 3 live at 11.
When a counselor asked how much my husband drinks, I said, not that much. I don't know why I said that. He always drank too much. But I guess I'm so used to keeping it a secret that I didn't tell the truth to myself or anyone else. My husband has drinks with friends after work. He has a couple of drinks at home with dinner and a few more while we watch TV. Pretty soon he's shouting at me and blaming me for all of his problems. I just can't take it anymore. A counselor recommended Al-Anon family groups. She said Al-Anon members have had experiences just like mine, and they would explain how Al-Anon is helping them. I didn't want to go to Al-Anon, but I'm sure glad I did. Is someone's drinking breaking your heart? You might be surprised at what you can learn at an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
I'm good, but I have a story and I don't know where to start.
I'm good, but I feel alone in a crowd.
I'm good,
past keeps coming back.
When the service member or veteran in your life says,
I'm good.
are you really listening?
I'm good, but I can't get out of bed.
I'm good, but I can't sleep.
I'm good, but I feel overwhelmed.
I'm good, but I don't feel safe.
I'm good, but I still have nightmares.
I'm good, but I don't need any help.
I'm good, but I don't feel anything anymore.
I'm good, but I can't live like this anymore.
I'm really not so good. Are you ready to listen?
Suicide prevention is everyone's responsibility. Listen to the veteran or service member in your life. If you are in crisis or know someone who is, call the Veterans Crisis Line and Military Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1 for free 24/7 confidential support.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro on a Thursday. I've been pretty honest on this show saying I don't get very emotional. I'm talking teary-eyed when a celebrity or, loses their life. It was the circumstances of Kobe Bryant's death that was just so tragic, losing his 13-year-old daughter and so many others on that helicopter. You think of his family, you think of all the families. It's horrible. And you look at videos and pictures of him and his daughter, Gigi. It breaks your heart, man, at least for me. It absolutely breaks my heart. It's terrible. And now there's more misconceptions that are going out there. And people were slamming TMZ for putting the story out there before the family knew. It's completely a lie. And now we have a petition that's calling for the cancellation of TMZ. They're called change.org. Somebody with, obviously no time on their hands, nothing better to do, calling for the Fox television stations to cancel TMZ in the wake of this helicopter crash because they're angry the way TMZ put the story out. Well, guess what? We found out that's not how it went down. If you're going to blame anybody, blame the person who released the information to TMZ. And guess who did? Well, we had Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports come on our show this week, and he explained to us that there was no rush to post this story, and they wanted to get it right. Have a listen to this.
It was Sunday morning, just because this has become somewhat of a point of contention. So Sunday morning, Harvey got a phone call. Harvey Levin, obviously runs TMZ, got a phone call from a law enforcement source, somebody that he's known for some time. And they told him, hey, this is something that you got to hear. And he gave him the news. And at that point is when, kind of we were all alerted. I was alerted, and we started making a whole bunch of phone calls over the next 45 minutes to an hour. And, one of those phone calls and one of the last phone calls was ultimately to a member of Kobe's camp. And they confirmed the news with us, and then they understood that we were going to post the story.
Right.
And that's when we posted the story. So just like with any other stories that we ever post, and even more so when it comes to something that's so serious as this, because you just can't be wrong about this because the implications are huge. So, we had gotten to a point where we were comfortable and confident that this was true. And that's when we posted, but there was no rush to throw this story up.
Right.
Nothing like that. We talked to many people, including Kobe's camp, before posting the story, and that's what we did.
And and by the way, the Kobe camp confirmed everything. So obviously the family knew what happened. So how about you guys take that petition and shove it up your ass? Because it's a joke. If you want to blame anybody, blame the law enforcement official that told Harvey. If you really want to blame somebody, that's exactly what you should do. TMZ did their due diligence. They got it right. If you want to blame people, blame ABC for putting out a story that all of Kobe Bryant's daughters died. Blame the people that put out the false information that Rick Fox was on that chopper. Guess what? TMZ didn't do any of that stuff. This petition is a fraud. And then you have Sikorsky urging customers to install crash warning systems that Kobe's chopper didn't have. So we asked Kobe Bryant's former pilot. Kobe Bryant's former private pilot was on our show yesterday. His name is Kurt Dietz. And he said that wouldn't have mattered. Have a listen to this.
Here's the thing. First of all, that aircraft is IFR capable, meaning that if you had to go IFR, you could take that aircraft IFR. Whether it had that on there or not, I don't remember. I've flown, there's 6 of those aircraft in Southern California, and I've flown 4 of them. So, I don't remember 100% if it had that. Normally they do, but, I can't speak to it that in my time I was there. But honestly, it would not have made a difference. That wouldn't have been we have that, we're safe.
Interesting.
So
yeah.
all that does
Right.
is alert you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're going to hit something. Hey, you're going to hit something.
Right.
It doesn't take over flight controls or anything like that.
Sure. Gotcha. Yeah. So there you go. So what would they have learned? A second before hitting the side of the mountain and dying, they would have learned you're going to hit something. It wouldn't have changed anything. They still would have crashed, sadly. So Sikorsky has no idea what they're talking about. This is a pilot who flew over 1,000 hours in that exact chopper that Kobe went down in. I'll take his advice over Sikorsky. And here's something else that I want to bring up. And this is fair. I raised this question. I think this is very, very fair. Did this pilot who went down, did he feel pressure? Did he feel pressure that Kobe Bryant was in his chopper and he felt the need to do things he normally wouldn't do? I think that's a fair question. Well, Kobe's former pilot, Kurt Dietz, said that wasn't the case either. Have a listen to this.
And the only thing I can say to that is that in the 2 years that I flew him, there was never, ever once any pressure from him or his people to get them there. None. Zero.
That's
However,
important.
any pressure as a pilot is all self-induced. No one wants to fail. No one wants to let their boss down,
Mm-hmm.
But there's a time where you have to say, hey, I can't do this, or whatever, and just take your licks.
Right.
But I don't know what his thought process was, but any pressure that he felt, and he had flown him for so long, there wasn't no oh my God, it's Kobe Bryant, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was comfortable in that environment,
Right.
flying him. So,
Yeah.
But as far as the client pressuring pilots, no.
Okay.
Never. Ever.
So do you see how sometimes stories are misrepresented or sometimes stories are written when they don't have the correct sources? Well, we had the sources. We had Mike Babcock from TMZ on our show. Everybody's going after TMZ. We had the guy. We had the source. Mike Babcock is one of the main guys in the TMZ sports department. When you have a law enforcement official tip somebody off, blame the law enforcement official. I'm going to give you a good example of what I'm talking about. I have a reporter background, news reporting mainly. And when you cover like a tragic murder or something that takes place, I've been to many press conferences that Metro Police has had in the past. And you go to this press conference, and then the next day you learn that there's an article in the paper. Somebody wrote an article and got a tip from a law enforcement official that gave him or her more information than the press conference. And that pisses you off as a reporter because you took the time and energy to go to that press conference. And now some reporter has a personal relationship with some sort of law enforcement official that's giving them more information than you. That's not fair. It's not right. I wasn't angry at the reporter who wrote the article. I was angry at the police officer that gave out that information. That's who you should be angry at here. Why are people so angry at TMZ? And by the way, you want to talk about TMZ just about all the time getting the story right. You want to talk about, this is arguably the biggest story in the last 20 years. You could make that argument. Yeah, I know Michael Jackson was huge as well, Prince. There have been some big stories in the last 20 years. I get that. But this Kobe Bryant story is right up there, arguably the biggest story of the last 2 decades. You're telling me that you don't think TMZ should want to put that up there if they know it's accurate and if they've confirmed with some of Kobe Bryant's people? You don't think that they should put that up there? So these law enforcement officials that held a press conference, I thought it was ridiculous, and they attacked TMZ. Guess what? Why don't you do an investigation and find out who gave Harvey the information within your own department? And by the way, the LAPD, not the best track record. I wonder how many Mark Furmans are working in the LA Police Department. I don't know. Be angry at the people within your own department. Stop being angry at TMZ. They did their job, and guess what? They did it right. And there is no evidence, and I mean no evidence, to support the fact that the family didn't know what took place and they learned from TMZ. There's no evidence to back that claim, but there are idiots on social media, some of whom have large followings, by the way, that are saying, get rid of TMZ. Let me tell you something. Some of these celebrities wouldn't even have a career if not for TMZ. So I am going to back TMZ, and I'm going to defend them on this. And trust me, I have been very emotional this week with the passing of Kobe Bryant, and it has been genuine. I have been very upset. I still am, and I am heartbroken for Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, everybody else that was on that helicopter, and his family, and what they're going through, and his friends, and everybody who he touched. I am heartbroken, and I am deeply saddened and hurt. It is a horrific story. With that being said, I hold absolutely no anger towards TMZ. Zero. I'm very upset at people that have been around the crash site that are trying to steal things from the crash site. My understanding is there were some looters there. Those people need to go to jail because they are sick. I'm also sickened by the people. We just talked to Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars. I asked him about, fake autographs and Kobe Bryant. There are so many people that are putting up fake autographs right there. Those people should be arrested. That should be a felony as far as I'm concerned. If there's evidence to support the fact that you have a fake autograph, and sometimes it's hard to prove, you are a sick human being. The second you find out that Kobe Bryant loses his life, the first thing that comes to your mind is, how can I profit off of this? You are a sick person. You are disgusting. And trust me, folks, there's a lot of people out there. There was a guy that was interviewed on Channel 8 the other day. Chris Matthews, who I respect a great deal. He does a great job in this town. But he interviewed a guy, I'm sure he didn't know, but he interviewed a guy that is a known scam artist. I'm not even going to say his name. A known scam artist who does fake autographs. How do I know that? I know that for a fact because he told me. And I probably should report him to the authorities. And sadly, the media, Channel 8, put him up there. They didn't know, and I understand that. It's not their fault. But there are sick people like that in Las Vegas and all throughout the country and the world that are trying to profit off of this horrific tragedy. It should never happen. And I applaud Kobe Bryant's wife for putting up a GoFundMe page to try to help the 7 others, their families that lost their lives, and help the families. Because there are some great stories of some great people that were on that helicopter that lost their life, including the pilot. Regardless of whether it was pilot error or not, it was an accident. He certainly didn't do it on purpose. And his family is suffering. And how about Kobe Bryant's assistant basketball coach on his little girl's team? She lost her life as well, and her story is incredible as well. A hell of a basketball player in her own right and a great coach. And what about another child, a couple kids that lost their lives that were on the basketball team with Gigi? And the baseball coach and his entire family. I mean, it's awful. The whole story sucks, man. It's terrible. And that's why most people are mourning. A small minority of people are trying to make a profit off of this tragedy, and those people should be exposed. How about those people that are calling Kobe Bryant a rapist? We're going to talk about that when we come back. There's a teacher, another teacher today. We have audio to play for you. It happened yesterday in the classroom, calling Kobe Bryant a criminal, calling him a rapist. And we're going to play that audio for you coming back because I think it's important to call these people out. And I believe anyone who calls Kobe Bryant a rapist is ill-informed, ignorant, and full of hatred. We'll talk about that coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Kilmeade, Hannity, Levin, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
Special report Trump impeachment trial. As the Senate begins the final day of questions and answers, House Republican Kevin McCarthy has no question about what he says is the heart of the matter.
The question, does this rise to impeachment level? No. What the president did was not wrong. It's not impeachable.
Republican John Barrasso says he doesn't think John Bolton will be called as a witness and thinks GOP senators will move to end the trial tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we're going to move to have to vote on the question of, have we heard enough? Do we need more information? Do we need more witnesses? Or is it time to move to final judgment about this case? I have heard enough. I am ready to make that vote, and I know that the momentum in the Republican conference is to do that as well.
If the Senate votes to allow witnesses in the trial, critics say the trial itself will move into uncharted territory with no obvious end in sight. I'm Mike Moss. Thousands aboard a cruise ship are being isolated because of the Chinese virus scare. We get more from correspondent Jim Roop.
The ship is docked at a port some 50 miles northwest of Rome. As the USA Today reports, a Chinese woman who presented with fevers and difficulty breathing and her traveling companion have been isolated. Concerns are that this ship visited ports in France and Spain, so how many more may have been exposed beyond the potential 6,000 passengers on board that ship?
The CDC says there is now a confirmed person-to-person transmission of that virus involving patients in Chicago. The government is getting ready to accuse Southwest Airlines of flying 17 million passengers aboard planes with unconfirmed maintenance records. Wall Street Journal says the announcement will follow a transportation investigation. Southwest is denying any wrongdoing. On Wall Street, stocks are down, concerned about the coronavirus. The Dow down 163, S&P down 22. I'm Mike Moss.
It's
This
time to
report
check the
sponsored by
roads.
Upwork. The crash on the 95 southbound at the Spaghetti Bowl, blocking the right lane. Now traffic is still heavy from the Rainbow Curve to the scene. And I-15 southbound delays are still slow and go from Lake Mead Boulevard to Sahara. And a crash reported at Sahara. And also an accident on 15 northbound near the Southern Beltway. Upwork has the largest network of independent professionals like designers, developers, data scientists, you name it. When you need in-demand talent on demand, Upwork is how. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their New Year sale. Transform your bathroom in just one day with the experts at Reborn Bath Solutions. Reborn Bath Solutions has been serving Las Vegas for over 3 decades, and right now they're offering 50% off all labor and 1 full year with no interest and no payments. You can't beat that. Make your appointment online today at rebornbathsolutions.com, and they'll give you a $50 Bed Bath & Beyond gift card just for considering them. 50% off labor, 1 full year of no interest and no payments, plus a $50 Bed Bath & Beyond gift card. What are you waiting for? Reborn Bath Solutions. They bring the showroom to you with free in-home appointments at your convenience. Visit rebornbathsolutions.com today. That's rebornbathsolutions.com. Take advantage of this amazing offer. 50% off all labor, 1 full year of no interest and no payments, plus a $50 Bed Bath & Beyond gift card. Reborn Bath Solutions, where it's done right and done in a day.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who owes back taxes, if you get nervous when the mail comes because you might get a letter from the IRS, then you've heard. Their enforcement agents are cracking down this year and can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts. Even your home or business could be at risk over unpaid taxes. It's all true, but it's also true there's a way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative, an important government program for tax debt assistance. The award-winning experts at Optima Tax Relief will fight to get you the best deal possible, protecting your paycheck and your assets from IRS collections. But don't delay, because the IRS is tacking on interest and hefty penalties every single day. So don't wait until it's too late. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 1015 FM, 720 AM. KDON. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, glad you could join us. By the way, quick reminder, coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll be speaking with the Hollywood conservative, also known as Mr. X, longtime Hollywood producer and Trump supporter. He'll be joining us coming up here in a few minutes. Want to catch up on the Harvey Weinstein trial and what are his thoughts on Don Lemon the other day making fun of Trump supporters. We'll talk about him coming up. In hour number 3, also Darcy Spears. It is her Dirty Dining segment from Channel 13 Action News. We'll get to that and the latest on the Michael Avenatti Nike trial, which just started. Larry Neumeister is reporting on it from the courtroom. He works for the Associated Press, so we'll get an update on that as well. So I mentioned yesterday, we played a little bit of audio of a teacher that in a classroom that called Kobe Bryant a rapist, which is absolutely disgusting. We heard from Evan Rachel Wood. She tweeted out that although Bryant is a sports icon, he was also a rapist, which is not factually accurate. She's since deleted that tweet. She is an idiot. And now we have Abigail Disney calling Kobe Bryant a rapist. And of course, she got a lot of backlash for it. Here's what she said.
Also, that guy raped a girl and got away with it.
No, that's not the right audio. Hang on. So here's what she said. She said, I haven't said anything about Kobe so far because I felt some time needed to pass before weighing in. But yes, it's time for the sledgehammer to come out. The man was a rapist. Deal with it, she wrote. You know, so she goes on Twitter and she makes that horrendous comment that I think people should be going after her for that on social media. It's wrong. It's not factually accurate. And we talked about this comedian, Ari Schaefer, who did a video calling Kobe Bryant a rapist. And then he wasn't allowed to do his comedy show the other day in New York because of death threats. Now, I don't condone death threats. I don't condone violence, but I don't feel bad for this guy that he wasn't able to perform the other day. He's an idiot, another idiot. They're all idiots as far as I'm concerned. If you call Kobe Bryant a rapist, not only is it not factually accurate, it's extremely insensitive. The guy just lost his life. If he was a convicted rapist, then I probably wouldn't feel the same way. But the charges were dropped, folks. He's not. So you're either ignorant or you're a racist. I don't know what else to say. And it goes for this guy, an LA teacher. Makes it even worse, he's a teacher in Los Angeles, right? Not that if, you know, a teacher here did the same thing, it would make it any better. But we have an LA teacher now who was caught on video bashing Kobe, this time at a high school in Los Angeles. Listen to what he has to say.
Also, that guy raped a girl and got away with it. He raped her. Okay? And his money and his power got away with raping a young lady. Okay? If it was any of you, you'd be in jail. And, you know, that's not good either.
Okay, so number one, this guy's another moron. Where is his evidence to support the fact that he got away with something? Kobe Bryant admitted to having, sex with this woman. The charges were dropped based on a lack of evidence to support the theory. Does he know how long this woman waited to call police? Does he have all the evidence in this case? There's a reason why the charges were dropped. And I don't think it has anything to do with how much money Kobe Bryant had. In fact, the reason why Kobe Bryant paid this woman off, I think that's what she was after to begin with, money. He's not a rapist, and guess what? It's not okay to call somebody a rapist if they haven't been convicted of rape. How the hell is this guy teaching? How the hell is he allowed to be in a classroom? And it got worse from there. Listen to what he said about Kobe Bryant getting on a helicopter. Listen to this.
And the third thing, I don't know how many, like my wife and I've talked to a lot of my friends. How much traffic is there on Sunday mornings in LA? Is there any traffic on the freeways? Is there any reason in God's green earth you need to take a helicopter from Orange County to Calabasas?
Like that.
It's a 40-mile drive. From the time it takes you to drive to the airport, to drive to another airport and get in a car, that's 40 minutes also. Anyone knows that flying in a helicopter is the most dangerous thing in the world. Okay? And by being selfish and by not being able to wait and all that stuff, he killed his family. Straight out.
He killed his family. First of all, to this dumbass who made these comments, he said, going in a helicopter is the most dangerous thing in the world. You know, I mean, he sounds like Alan Dershowitz. He sounds that stupid. First of all, do we understand that when you get into your car, you have a better chance of losing your life than when you get into a helicopter? This guy obviously has no idea what he's talking about. No clue. And then the audacity of this guy, not only to call Kobe Bryant a rapist, but to say he killed his family. Is anybody okay with this guy being a teacher? I'm going to tell you something right now. If you're that dumb and you have that much hate inside you, and listen, I don't know if this is just pure stupidity, racism. I guess if you're a racist, you're probably ignorant. I wouldn't call anybody that's a racist a very intelligent person. If you're that type of human being, should you really be teaching? I would say no. I would argue that guy should never be allowed to be a teacher again. By the way, this was at James Garfield High School. It's in East Los Angeles, and I am so glad that we live in a day and age of cell phones and video. I am so glad that that student captured that video. Because in my personal opinion, I don't believe he'll teach again. His name is Brian Bailey. For anybody that knows this guy, Brian Bailey, how can you defend him? And I don't think anybody has, but this is disgusting. So I asked this question to you, and I want to know what you guys think about this. And this has nothing to do with Donald Trump, believe it or not. This has everything to do with this man, Brian Bailey, and what he said at James Garfield High School in East Los Angeles. What made him a great basketball player also made him a horrible basketball player and a horrible person. That's also what this guy said. I pose this question to our listeners. Are you comfortable with this guy only getting maybe a 1-week suspension? Now, I don't know what the repercussions are going to be for this guy, but I ask you this. I don't think this guy should ever be a teacher again. And to anybody else out there that wants to call Kobe Bryant a rapist, I try to defend that on this show. Go ahead. Make your case and try to defend it if you think Kobe Bryant is a rapist. How would you like it for you Trump supporters out there if I called Donald Trump a rapist? He's never been convicted. How would you like it? My understanding is that the counseling staff at this school are aware of the situation. They were alerted about it, and they're preparing to deal with it. So I open up the phone lines, and I ask you that question. What do you think should happen to this guy? Should he be allowed to teach at that school? Should he get a 1-week suspension? Should anything happen to him at all? Should he be allowed to teach ever again? I say no. Get rid of this guy. He should not be allowed to be in the classroom ever again under any circumstances. If you're dumb enough to say that Kobe Bryant is a rapist, if you're dumb enough to say that Kobe Bryant is not only a rapist, but he killed his family because he decided to get into a helicopter, you shouldn't be in the classroom. The number to call is 702-257-5396. Again, if you want to be a part of the program, your thoughts on this Kobe Bryant situation. What do you think should happen to this teacher? 702-257-5396 is the number to call. See, I think we do have freedom of speech, right? But it's the misconception on what freedom of speech is. Listen, if you want to go on a sidewalk and you want to hold up a sign that says, Kobe Bryant, you're a rapist and you deserve to die, obviously that would be an awful thing to say. Awful, right? But guess what? You have the right to do it, right? Freedom of speech. But guess what? Just because the government gives you freedom of speech doesn't mean that you have the freedom to say whatever you want in a classroom or a place of business. That's exactly what this guy did. Do you understand the distinction? Do you understand the distinction? It's a big distinction. And I don't believe this guy should ever be allowed to teach again. And by the way, Kobe Bryant is no rapist. He's done so many great things in his life. Yes, he committed infidelity, not rape. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's start off with Dave. Dave, thanks for calling in. What's your opinion on this?
What's up, Brian? Yeah, man, I feel you, man. I'm hurting every day with this situation.
It's awful.
Man.
It's awful.
It's just terrible. People like that teacher and the teacher you played the other day yelling to us students that Kobe's he committed REP. They can't have souls. They must not have souls. So they should not be allowed to be in the public. I mean, teaching kids. I mean, whether they're teenagers or whatever. This teacher, I think he's got to find another profession, man.
Well, he has to, and I think he should be publicly embarrassed. And guess what? What if this guy is married, Dave? Okay, what is his wife thinking? How does any woman? How would any decent woman be married to a guy like that? No, I'm not talking about Melania Trump. I'm actually talking about this teacher. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. No, but seriously, how could anybody be a friend to? Let me tell you something, Dave. If I had a friend that said something like that, I'd want to knock him out. I really would.
I would, man. There's a comedian right now. Ari Schrift.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Ari Schaefer, who put out a video the day of when Kobe Bryant lost his life. We played that audio yesterday. It's despicable, Dave. It really is.
Disgusting, man. I mean, I don't know where these people go from that. They can't be human beings.
I don't know either. Like I said, it's either you're completely ignorant or you're racist. You're full of hate, and I guess the two go hand in hand because racist people.
Because I mean, the guy was. I mean, everybody's flawed. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's done something.
Yeah, but
in their life.
not everybody would speak in front of kids and say Kobe Bryant's a rapist either. Dave, I appreciate your call, my man. We certainly agree. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Michael. Michael, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, man?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Michael here again, long-time caller. Just kind of get an outside perspective, like black and white, and how you do it like government and state is there's a tier step of punishment, and if this is his first offense, I absolutely agree. Hit him hard, suspension, no pay,
Right.
it would be remedial course and all that. I do not agree with what he said at all, and I think it's absolutely too soon to say any type of negative opinion about Mr. Bryant.
Right.
That's clear cut, okay? You are absolutely right on that.
Michael, can I just... I'm sorry to interrupt you, Michael. Can I just interject and say something? See, if this was 5 years from now, I would feel the same way. I feel more strongly about it now, obviously, with what you just said. It's too soon. But even if somebody 5 years from now was in a classroom and said that, I would still be upset. And here's why, Michael. Guess what? He's not a rapist. He wasn't convicted of rape. They dropped the charges. It's not factually accurate, right? And when you're a teacher, the facts are important, aren't they?
I agree. And with that said, 5 years from now, also, you're going to be slightly a different person with more patience that you would see, look at them and like, what an idiot. You know, I don't want to push the issue that hard, but he should absolutely be punished, not necessarily fired. You know, because time is going by. That's what time does. It heals wounds. Right now, too soon, but absolutely, he needs to be slapped hard with punishment, not fired, because, you know, it's not into that realm yet.
And listen, I respect your opinion on that. I guess what I'm trying to say is if he was fired, I wouldn't feel sorry for him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. there.
Yeah.
But I'm also, to be black and white instead is, you know,
No, I understand.
opinions and all that.
Yeah, no, Michael, I totally understand where you're going with that. I respect your opinion. Thank you for the phone call, Michael. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. We're talking about this teacher in L.A. that said Kobe Bryant got away with rape. There's a video of it. He also said Kobe Bryant killed his family. He said going into a helicopter is one of the most dangerous things you could do in life, which is completely inaccurate. You might as well not drive to work, because if you drive to work, there's a more, sadly, there's a better chance of you dying driving to work than it is you getting into a helicopter. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Chuck. Chuck, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Yeah, Brian, I was saying that O.J. did it, but he wasn't convicted. So this is
O.J. was responsible in the domestic violence dispute. I'm sorry, not the domestic. O.J. was civilly liable in the double murder. I think that's very important to note. Number two, the evidence was overwhelming in the trial, which I watched when I was a kid, that O.J. Simpson was on the scene of the murder crime. Now, even though he wasn't convicted, and you are absolutely right on that, he wasn't convicted, but he was found civilly liable. And if there was no evidence to support the fact that he murdered both of those people, then that wouldn't have happened. The evidence, the reason why they dropped the case is because there was no evidence to support the fact that Kobe Bryant raped that girl. So it's apples to oranges. They're two different cases. Do you understand where I'm going, Chuck, with this?
Yeah, I'm not even talking about the Kobe thing.
Okay. Well, you mentioned OJ, and I'm just saying they're two.
Yeah, well, because you're on some of your past shows that, you know, even though.
Well, yes, I do believe he was a part of that double murder. I absolutely do. And I think when you compare O.J. Simpson, who was found civilly liable in a double murder, and compare that to Kobe Bryant, I'm sorry, I'm just not with that analogy, my man.
It's not about that teacher. He's just, you know, his opinion, you know.
So you're okay.
All kinds of. I'm not okay with it.
Okay, so let me.
You're going to have A to Z.
Okay, but here's the difference, Chuck. If I was a teacher, see, I do a radio show. If I was and by the way, on this radio show, I would never call Kobe Bryant a rapist. But if I'm in front of a classroom, do you think I would talk about O.J. Simpson and call him a murderer? Do you think that would be appropriate? Because I would never do that.
No, not a doubt. I mean, what class was it? You know.
Well, it's a high school class, Chuck. You know, I mean.
You know, if it's math, it should be talking about math or.
Exactly. So we agree on. So Chuck, we agree on that. That this teacher, what he said was completely inappropriate.
Inappropriate, but as for punishment, I don't know.
You don't think he should be punished at all?
You'd have to see I don't know what the policy is. You know, I'm sure there's HR stuff in there.
No, I understand, but I'm just asking you, Chuck, as a human being, don't you think he should be punished for those statements?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty insensitive. You're right on that. But you know, as for the punishment, you know, they have it in their policy and procedure. You know.
Yeah. Okay, Chuck. I hear you, my man. By the way, there's a trombone in this video. I'm assuming that this was a music class or a band class. This is a white teacher with a bunch of minority students. I don't know what's in this guy's heart. I don't know if he's a racist or not. Certainly, he has a lot of hatred built up inside of him and a lot of anger. And I wouldn't feel comfortable having that guy, if I had kids, teaching my kids. I'd go right into that school and said, get rid of this guy. Get rid of this guy. I don't want my student in that class with this buffoon. Number to call, 702-257-5396. We're just talking about people being so insensitive, calling Kobe Bryant a rapist on social media. But it's not just every regular day people. We're talking about celebrities. We're talking about Abigail Disney. We're talking about comedians. And now we're talking about teachers. Teachers in the classroom that are trying to educate our kids when they're the ones that need to get an education themselves. Have you ever heard of someone saying getting into a helicopter is one of the most dangerous things you could do in your life? No, I'd say bungee jumping is probably a little more dangerous than that. Getting into your car and driving is more dangerous than getting into a helicopter. This guy is obviously an ignoramus. He's not very bright. And it's sad that he is a teacher. He is a teacher. No, you know who was the real teacher? You know who was the real philosopher? You know who was the real educator? Yes, think Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was that guy. He was the one that was constantly teaching, not just about basketball, but about life, about business, about being a family man. It was Kobe Bryant that was the educator, not this dumbass, not this hatred, racist moron that is in the classroom. Not that guy. 702-257-5396. Take a few more calls. Let's go to John. John, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I think the statement in and of itself is obviously ignorant, but we live in a day and age of misinformation. So to me, the question is, why did he make the ignorant statement? I don't necessarily agree with firing him right off. If you fire him right off, you're making a rush to judgment without all the facts, which may be just as ignorant as his statement. He also may be a wonderful teacher, a wonderful person who was misinformed. So I think you need more factors than to make this bright line rule before you make that rush.
All right. Well, let's have a conversation.
But it is an ignorant statement if you are informed.
Right. Well,
I agree.
let me ask you this then. Shouldn't teachers be informed? Before they make statements, shouldn't they say things that are factually accurate? I'm not even talking about the helicopter comment he made, which was just pure stupid. Because he said Kobe killed. But hold on, it's public knowledge. Everybody knows, even not educators, any average everyday person knows what happened in that rape case. The charges were dropped. The fact this guy doesn't know that is very troubling to me.
Well, as you said, other people tweeted out he was a rapist. Maybe that's what he read. You don't know. And in this day and age, also, you have people that are special. So everything is so specialized. A PE teacher is going to know, presumably, everything there is to know in the sports world.
Mm-hmm.
A band teacher may know his focus is on music, and it's really not about sports. Not everybody is well-rounded.
All right, I agree.
Listen,
I agree.
All I'm saying is I think
I get it.
It's a rush.
I agree. I agree with what you just said there, but let me take it a step further. If somebody is dumb enough, and yeah, I think it's stupidity, to read something on social media and then take what they read on social media and preach it to a classroom days after this man and his daughter lost their lives among 7 others, I don't want that person with that type of judgment teaching our kids. That's just my opinion.
Well, if that's the case, I think what we would have to do is round up all the teachers that are Trump supporters and listen to his tweets.
Well, I don't think teachers should ever talk about Donald Trump and politics. But here's the thing. I'll say this, and you know how you listen to this show, I would imagine. You know I'm not a Trump guy. But I'll tell you this. Here's where I would defend Donald Trump. If a teacher went in front of a classroom because he saw something on social media and called Donald Trump a racist, I promise you, my man, I'd be saying the exact same thing. I really would. I would be defending Donald Trump, and if it's not factually accurate, and look, Donald Trump has been accused of rape, but he's never been convicted of that crime. So I would absolutely defend Donald Trump as I would absolutely defend anyone else, and I do appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much for calling in. We do appreciate it. 702-257-5396. I do not believe that it is a rush to judgment. I think it is clearly put. This guy, a couple days after Kobe and his 13-year-old daughter and 7 others lose their lives, to not only call him a rapist, but to say he killed his family is beyond ridiculous. And I am not going to defend this guy, and I think it's disgusting. Again, that number to call, 257-5396. Let's go to Bill. Bill, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Yeah, Brian, I was always brought up
you don't speak bad about the dead, number one. And, you know, if you don't have nothing nice to say about somebody, just don't say anything. This guy is totally beyond the pale, molding children's brains to make them more mean. It's just, that's my only comment.
Yeah, I will. By the way, Bill, I appreciate that. It seems like your parents raised you the right way, but I will say this, you know, people like Adolf Hitler that are dead, which sadly some people still praise in today's society. I've got no problem with people, you know, going after Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, Adolf Hitler, murderers, the real rapists and criminals. Yeah.
They were very, very treacherously evil in history, but this guy was not proven to do what he did.
Exactly.
You gotta leave it alone at that. It's just beyond the pale, Brian. You have a nice day.
Thank you, Bill, and I could not agree with you more, my man. Thank you for the phone call. 257-5396. Let's go to Paul. Paul, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What do you think about this?
I think all schools should be banned from talking about social media issues in class because it's too controversial. Because you know, the biggest cowards in the world are the ones who post on social media. And they're probably the most ignorant in many cases.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think a teacher should be discussing, like you said, politics. Don't do it. Don't discuss it because unless you're, you know, obviously, if you're in a government class, you have to talk about politics. But I don't think policies and stuff like that because everybody has their own opinion.
But don't get your personal bias involved and let the students make their own decisions. And I'll even take it a step further. There's no reason other than the fact if you bring up Kobe Bryant's name in a band class or a music class, than to say you feel for his family. You feel for all the others that died in the crash. Just leave it at that. Why do you gotta call him? First of all, we don't care about this guy's personal opinions, number one. You know, and number two, why do you have to share your hatred with a bunch of teenagers? I just don't understand.
You shouldn't, but let me tell you something about you're saying about him, the comment about getting in a helicopter.
Yeah.
I was in the military, and I hated every time I had to go on a helicopter because they don't glide. You know, the motors go out, they don't glide, they drop. And I'm not saying nobody should get on one, but that's my personal thing. Is that's the only thing that guy said that I could agree with.
But he did say this, though, Paul. Okay, no, Paul, listen, I hear you, and I appreciate your expertise, but here's what this guy said that I disagree with. He said that it's one of the most dangerous things you could do in the world, and my point is driving is far more dangerous than getting into a helicopter. The stats prove that driving to work, you have a better chance of dying than getting into a helicopter. That's where I have a problem with his comment.
I agree. Yeah, I agree, too. I mean, obviously, it wasn't factually correct.
Right.
He probably should have said, in my opinion, the most dangerous thing you can do is get in a helicopter.
But Paul, listen, we're in agreement. I don't want to get on a helicopter. I don't like helicopters. I don't even like flying. You know, I have a phobia, and I don't like flying. I would never get into a helicopter. It's not because I think I would die. I just don't like it. You know, it's like a roller coaster. I don't like going on roller coasters. It's not like I think I'm going to die. Accidents do happen, but we all drive, and we all know the statistics there are. We'll take a quick break. We continue this conversation on the other side. The Hollywood conservative, Mr. X, will be coming up next.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Mojo would swallow things whole. A chicken carcass, a bird nest, and assorted stones and sticks. After surgery, Mojo had skin issues. He was constantly itching and scratching, chewing the hair right off of his legs.
DINOVITE.com.
On the Dinovite, all of these symptoms disappeared.
Dinovite is nutrition.
If you love your dog, you need to put him on Dinovite.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
Official report Trump impeachment trial. Chief Justice John Roberts has again declined to read a question from Rand Paul about revealing the identity of the whistleblower.
Mr. Chief Justice.
Senator from Kentucky.
I have a question to present to the desk for the House Manager Schiff and for the President's Counsel.
Thank you. The presiding officer declines to read the question as submitted.
Reportedly, Paul then stepped outside, denied trying to out the whistleblower, and then named the individual said to be the whistleblower. Lead House trial manager Adam Schiff says the Senate trial won't have credibility if witnesses aren't called.
Fair trial requires witnesses. Fair trial, an impartial oath requires witnesses. And that's what they should deliver for the American people. No trial, no vindication. No vindication for the president or anyone else.
The question could be decided tomorrow. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The crash on I-15 southbound at Sahara still a factor. Delays from Lake Mead Boulevard. On the surface streets, an accident reported Eastern Avenue southbound south of Horizon Ridge Parkway. Police and fire at the scene. And a hit-and-run accident investigation continues at Rainbow at Smoke Ranch Road. It's the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares Sweepstakes. Rocket Mortgage is giving away millions during Super Bowl 54. See rules and enter for free at rocketmortgagesquares.com. Quicken Loans is an official partner of the Super Bowl. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
My name is Sam Murjovsky.
I'm Ashley Watkins, the Ash of Sam and Ash.
Sam and Ash, your personal injury attorneys. Find them at samandash.com.
What's most important to me and to Ashley is managing the kind of practice that puts the client's case first.
You're helping them get through something that they never anticipated happening to them.
Find out more at samandash.com or call 1-800-304-2000. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
You need an attorney that's focused on helping you get to the end that you deserve.
V is for victory, except on Saturdays when V is for veterans. That's Veterans Talk, the Forgotten Promise. Join us every Saturday from noon to 1.
Veterans Talk every Saturday at noon on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
This is Lorraine Hunt Bono, inviting you to tune in for Breaking Bread with Bono. Join my husband, Dennis Bono, as celebrities share with him their intimate and humorous stories. Saturdays, 5 to 6 p.m., right here on KDON.
My name is Dale Pazinski, and this is how I live United. I volunteer with United Way, helping the homeless in my community by teaching computer skills and helping them build a basic resume to save on their very own USB drive. It's huge when somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro, also broadcasting live, by the way, not just on KDWN, but we are on YouTube, the Vegas Take page. We're everywhere. We're also all over social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Check us out. Also, our website, thevegastake.com, and of course, right here on KDWN as well. So we always love having this guy on the show, and what better person to talk about some of these issues in LA, in California, Kobe Bryant, Harvey Weinstein. We get it all from this man. He's known as Mr. X. He is the Hollywood conservative. We don't say his name on the show because he is a hotshot Hollywood producer who also happens to be a conservative, a Donald Trump supporter, and we always appreciate his perspective when he comes on the show. Mr. X, thanks for joining us, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'll be honest, man. The Kobe thing really hit me hard. I know you want to get talking about that. I mean, this was one of my idols, and
Me too.
I don't know if I've ever been so upset about a celebrity death. I mean, I was really bent out of shape about it.
Can I just say, you are echoing exactly what I said in the first segment of this show. Mr. X,
Yeah.
I said the exact same thing. We've all been sad when celebrities have lost their lives. I've never been choked up like I have the last couple days, this week, really. And you're right. You're right. And I think we probably agree it's because of the people he touched, the circumstances, losing his 13-year-old daughter, 7 others. Yeah, the good father, the family man.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a painting of this kind of like painting of Kobe dunking on someone in my office. I mean, I've been a Kobe fan since he came into the league. I've been a Lakers fan my whole life, and the thing that really sucks the most. I mean, everything about it sucks. Him losing his daughter and the other people is the worst part. But
Sure.
from an LA person's perspective, it just Kobe was our guy. Like LA was all about Kobe. You can't drive anywhere in LA and not see, Kobe and graffiti murals on walls and just, I mean, he stuck with with just the Lakers throughout his entire career. You know, that never happens anymore. Like, it was really rough, man. And then watching I loved all of the, it was crazy just how many people, posted about it and were affected by it. I mean, that if Donald Trump and Barack Obama are posting about someone, that it's important, and O.J. Simpson even posted a tribute to Kobe.
Hello, Twitter world. It's yours truly. Yeah, that idiot. But no,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. And I want to talk about some of the negative stuff. Sadly, we've talked about the great person that was Kobe Bryant, the father, the husband, the teacher, the philosopher, the businessman. I mean, there was so many. I mean, we can go on and on about all the positives, but it gets me very angry about some of these negatives.
I got banned from Evan Rachel Wood's Twitter, so I'm proud of that.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, 'cause she posted right after he passed.
I saw that.
Within
What a
an
nitwit.
hour, this guy's a rapist, and I lost my mind, and honestly, I want to talk about that for a second.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Accusing, I don't know what to do about this rape thing, and it pertains to Weinstein too, because Kobe's not a rapist.
Of course not.
The guy was acquitted. He was never charged. So
Right.
It's okay, so I'm not stupid, and I know something happened in that hotel room, but my biggest problem with somebody like Evan Rachel Wood and these Me Too feminist idiots who essentially
Abigail Disney's another one.
Yeah, they always just immediately take the side of the victim, and that's fine. But they refuse to consider, what if it's not what you think? I just don't.
Well, the law says it's not. I mean, let's be
what I'm saying.
let's
So,
be factual. Yeah.
What are we gonna go off?
Well,
of?
here's my opinion, Mr. X, and I think you'll agree with me on this one. If you call Kobe Bryant a rapist, you are a moron, and you have hatred inside of you, and you're either ignorant or you're a racist. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
We just played audio, Mr. X, of a teacher in a classroom in L.A. calling Kobe a rapist, saying he killed his family. Just the worst possible things you could say. And I'm going to tell you something. He's not the only one. I mean, and listen, there's been awful media coverage. I defend TMZ. They did nothing wrong. But ABC News has now suspended a reporter. His name is Matt Gutman, over an inaccurate statement about the Kobe crash, saying that all members of his family were on the helicopter.
Yeah.
We have a responsibility as members of the media to get it right. TMZ got it right. But for these people out there that said Rick Fox was on the helicopter,
Yeah, that was weird.
it's outrageous. I mean, what do you think about the media coverage?
It's funny too, and I actually agree with you about TMZ. I saw that TMZ was catching a lot of flack, and I saw that there was some petition to shut down TMZ because, and I get it, because essentially they did report what happened prior to Vanessa knowing, and
we don't know that though. But
I mean, that's what was said, and I agree with you. But my opinion on that is that I back TMZ. They are probably one of the most accurate and quick, news reporting outlets.
And
out
Mr.
there.
X, can I interject? And I want to add something. We had Mike Babcock from TMZ on our show on Tuesday. He comes on our show every week. He's one of the guys that broke this story with TMZ. He told us on the air that Harvey got a call from a law enforcement official. And before they posted any of this news, they had to confirm it, and they reached out to members of Kobe Bryant's team. They confirmed that it was true. If members of Kobe Bryant's team knew that it was true, I can almost damn well assure you that Kobe Bryant's family knew. So I think they did their due diligence.
I agree, and also too, they're doing their job. And one thing I like about TMZ, they don't post a bunch of opinions. I don't go on there and see a bunch of crazy nonsense that's super politicized. They kind of just post what happened, and they just post it fast. That's the type of media coverage I appreciate, rather than having to read some crazy opinion piece about, whatever.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Look to the media.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not mad at TMZ.
Neither am I. I think you can make the argument TMZ gets it right more than just about anybody, and they're probably one of the most reputable sources right now anywhere. Sadly, they are, and I have a lot of respect for them. I think they do an excellent job, and I think Babcock and Evan Rosenblum over there at TMZ Sports, they come on our show all the time, and I appreciate them, and I think they handled it well. I really did. Before we move on to other topics, since you're out there in L.A., what is it like? I mean, what has the scene been out there the last couple of days? I would imagine everywhere you go, people are wearing Kobe jerseys. What's it like?
Yeah, they are. I mean, everywhere I've gone, people were talking about Kobe, wearing jerseys. I mean, it just was Yeah, down at Staples, there was a big tribute to him, and it's like, I mean, the guy really was a hero here. I mean, and it's crazy. All I can say is like, this is the last possible person it seemed like this could have happened.
He was Superman. He was Superman.
He
yeah,
was so
superhero.
strong and so smart and
Yeah.
so educated and so cool, and it was just like, I was on the phone with my brother when it happened, and we were talking about something else, and he said, "I'm getting all these weird texts about Kobe. What happened?" I said, "I don't know." Went online and I started seeing it, and I was like, I just kind of laughed. I was like, "Yeah, right. Like, this is the last person."
Yeah, I didn't believe it either.
This could have happened to.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like if it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or some older basketball player who was a legend, or even like Magic, like one of these guys that's older, I'd be like, okay, like. But Kobe was this guy that was going to have
His second life was just starting.
It was. He was going to have this big career in, film and all kinds of stuff. And, like, he had his girls. And, I mean, that was the part that just was completely devastating.
No question. And I look at images over the last several nights of his friends and looking at pictures of him and his daughter. In fact, yesterday, I wish I didn't find this video, but I did. And it's a video of him coaching in a small gymnasium at a practice. So not only his daughter is there, but I believe a few other girls that died in that helicopter crash were in that practice, including one of the parents and his assistant coach. From what I've heard, was a wonderful woman, his assistant, who also died. And I'm watching this practice, and I'm seeing not the crazy competitive Kobe Bryant. I'm seeing how great he was as a teacher and how good he was with these young girls and how positive he was. And I got choked up yesterday. I'm telling you, I've gotten choked up every night.
Oh, man, I flat out cried. I'm not going to lie. When it first went down and I saw the tribute, like, watching Shaq on TV, and like, there's no silver lining of this. I mean, it is just awful every way you look at it. The only thing that I think came about from it that was even remotely positive was watching guys like Shaq, and, he said, when he was, I don't know if you watched him on TV.
I did. He said he hasn't talked to Kobe in 3 years. Yeah.
Well, no, but I love that he reached out to Rick Fox. He reached out to other guys,
which was good.
He had not spoken to, and even like Kendrick Perkins, right after it happened, he reached out to Kevin Durant. He said, "I love you, man. Like, I can't. Life's too short for us to fight about."
And I
like
think, that's a lesson learned. And I think it's sad that Shaq didn't listen. Kobe was not the easiest person in the world to play with.
I know that.
But with that being said, But with that being said, I think, Shaq is feeling guilt, and I understand why he's feeling that. And, I don't think anybody expected this to happen. I'm not blaming Shaquille, but the fact they haven't spoken in 3 years, I think he's feeling guilt because of that. And he's right. We need to reach out to people that we care about. Obviously, Shaquille and Kobe had a love for one another. It was a love-hate relationship, but they loved one another. And you're right. That was very telling, and I appreciated Shaquille being honest. And it's also heartbreaking to hear his friends talk about all these great stories about him. And when I hear these SOBs call him a rapist,
I lose my mind. And I'm not even like a reactionary person, and I generally am pretty cynical, and I'm kind of just like, whatever. I was pissed. Like, I was
I am too.
Legitimately, like, because, I mean, forget, like whatever. I'm not defending Kobe and the fact that he cheated on his wife and clearly something went down. I'm not going to call him a rapist because he's not.
He's not. He cheated on his wife.
Not a rapist. He cheated on his wife. He literally was not accused of rape. I'm sorry to tell you this, but the amount of people that he inspired and the way that he lived his life, like, that doesn't make up for it if he was. But I look at this guy who, after that incident, had many years of happy marriage. He has 4 daughters. He was, so involved with women's sports. Like that. Like, this is who you're going to say this about? Like,
it's disgusting.
All of the good things that he did. Like,
it's terrible. It's disgusting. And I also say, 6 months ago, I saw Kobe Bryant. I was sitting about 10 feet away from him. He's there with Gigi, his daughter, at a Las Vegas Aces basketball game. I took a few pictures. I'm lucky enough to have been able to have interviewed him over 10 times. I shook his hand and I said a quick hello to him. Always did interviews with the media, treated the media with respect. Always treated fans with respect. Autographs, the pictures he took. The opposite of Michael Jordan, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not, just the opposite. In fact, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said Michael Jordan in his lifetime cares more about Nike than humanitarian issues. Kobe was the absolute opposite. Yeah, he had his sponsors, but the people that he touched and all the people that he reached out to, It's incredible. So we definitely agree on that, and we should ostracize all these idiots that are calling Kobe Bryant a rapist. Yeah, there's no question.
I lost my, and the best was on Evan Rachel Wood was, I mean, the backlash was unbelievable, and people kept just spamming her Instagram with this photograph of her with her arm around Woody Allen at a premiere.
Oh,
And
I
it's
love
like,
it.
But
I love it.
Such like
Hypocrisy. Yeah.
So it's such Hollywood. It's
Well,
such,
you know what?
like,
Maybe she's a racist. Maybe we don't know, but it certainly doesn't speak very highly of her. Speaking of ostracizing someone, let's move on to Harvey Weinstein. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Mr. X, Hollywood conservative. He's a producer out there in L.A. And also a Donald Trump supporter. I forgive you for that, Mr. X, as you know. Let's talk. Let's talk about Harvey Weinstein here. So, how about this story that's just come out, where apparently he's talking to an actress about starring in one of his films. And this was a situation that took place in a hotel room back in 2004. We're talking about, of course, Harvey Weinstein. Her name is Dawn Dunning, now 40 years old. She said she met Harvey Weinstein when she was a waitress at a nightclub in Manhattan. She's saying Harvey Weinstein took her to his hotel suite, fondled her genitals before urging her to not make a big deal about this. And then he told her, dangling movie gigs in front of her, but told her she wouldn't get them if she didn't have a threesome with his assistant. I mean, what do you make of this awful story that's just come about? I certainly believe her.
Oh, I do too. And that's it. Bringing it back slightly to Kobe. Like, this is the other end of the spectrum. Like, when you have so many women and so many people coming out against someone, like in this case, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. And like, it's also, you know, just, I'm not going to call myself a Hollywood insider, but I am to an extent. I've been in the industry.
You're around the business for a long time. Yeah.
Everyone knew this about Harvey. I mean, everybody has known this for 20 years, that he was an absolute monster. And Harvey's now, he's doing everything he can. I know that he got like a you know, a female attorney, and you know, to try to represent him and stuff, you know, similar to what happened with Kobe, you know, in Denver. And it's just like, I don't know what this guy can even do at this point. Like, he's just so awful and so gross, and has no friends that are going to defend him, because he was such an a-hole to everyone when he was in power, you know?
Yeah,
so it's like, nobody's got his back, because they shouldn't, because he treated them like crap.
What do you make, Mr. X, of this guy, you know, pretending like he has these major back problems, which, by the way, I don't believe for a second, as he stumbles his way into court, and then he's seen in some videos walking up and down stairs, no problem. What do you make of that?
And as a former private investigator who did surveillance on people for workers' comp fraud, I saw a lot of people with neck braces heading to their medical appointment and then followed them to soccer games afterward. And I will just say that, yeah, I think my professional medical analysis is that Harvey's justified.
Yeah. All right. So 2 questions for you, tying in Harvey Weinstein and Kobe Bryant in this essence. There's obviously going to be a couple movies made about this eventually. I don't see how there's not, right? So my 2-part question is, who do you think would play Harvey Weinstein, and who do you think would play Kobe Bryant?
Oh man, that's a good one. Harvey, gosh, maybe like a fat John Lovitz. Like, maybe he could, I don't know, you know, like maybe, I mean, he's already kind of fat, but like,
you must have a threesome with me.
Packed on even more. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Harvey can.
Hey, I got one. How about Jeff Green from Curb Your Enthusiasm?
There you go. That's a good idea. You know, for Kobe, I kind of hope they don't make a movie about it. I know they will, but I mean, for Kobe, I would love it if it was an unknown, or even like they went to Ray Allen and he got game thing and cast like a young, you know, talented NBA player, like a kid who is an actual, you know, basketball player. Like Ray Allen was really good in that movie, and Kevin Garnett was really good in Uncut Gems.
I thought he was excellent. Yeah, I actually thought he was excellent. I agree with you on that one. He did a really good job for somebody that doesn't have, you know, any experience acting.
He's an actor.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be really tough to find somebody that can fit that role. That'd be tough. That'd be tough for anybody. But I think certainly a movie has to talk about the positive things that he's done in his life and the hard work and how obsessed he was with his craft. Right. And he said
think they'll do a really good documentary about it. I think that'll probably be first, and there might even, I think there already has been, but I think there will be a really good,
I hope so.
Yeah, and I think that'll show all the sides, and nobody's perfect, and that's the thing about it is, like, I'm in no way justifying whatever happened with Kobe, but like, it's so stupid to look at somebody who has had so many positive, like I just think honestly it's such a weird thought, but I think back to like Abraham Lincoln, right? And I'm like, he's looked upon because he freed the slaves in this country, which was so massively right.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if TMZ had been around back then, trust me, I guarantee you he had skeletons in his closet,
sure,
like everyone else.
Yeah,
And
no, I agree.
it's like,
Yeah.
and so it's like that now, because of just how stupid society is, like we look at somebody like that and who was essentially a hero in almost every respect, and they would just focus on this one small aspect of their life. Like, that's not who Kobe was. Like, that's who Harvey Weinstein is, because that was like a recurring thing. But again, Kobe, like, after that, he was happily married to Vanessa. She forgave him. They stayed together for, 15, 16 years after that. He had 4 girls. Like, he was supporting women's sports in every way. And, like that's what everyone should be talking about. And most people were, so.
Well, most logical, normal people that are not racist or don't have a lot of hate inside of them, I agree. If you're joining us, he is the Hollywood conservative, Mr. X. Okay, Mr. X, let's talk about your favorite guy on television, that is Don Lemon. By the way, he's not my favorite guy either. I've never been a Don Lemon fan. I think he's horrible on the air, just like I don't think Rachel Maddow's very good on the air, just like I don't think Laura Ingraham is good on the air. The difference is I think Laura Ingraham is a racist, evil witch. But anyway, that's another story for another show. So Don Lemon the other day, I don't know if you saw this. We're going to play the audio for you. This is Don Lemon on with a few guests, and they're mocking Trump supporters in a way that I thought was extremely unprofessional, and also the way Don Lemon reacted. Let's play this audio, then we'll talk about it.
And the third thing, if I don't know how many, like I
Uh-oh, what happened?
Only them elites know where Ukraine is. Sorry, I apologize. But by the way,
Oh my God!
But you know what? But it was Rick's fault. I blame Rick.
Oh my
But,
God.
but in all honesty, you know what
Rick.
NPR should
Why
do?
not? Sorry, hold on. Wait.
Can I tell
give
you
me
what?
a second. Hold on. Sorry. No, it was good. Sorry, Rick. That was a good one. I needed that.
So basically, they're making fun of Southerners, and they're labeling Trump supporters as all being idiots. And then Don Lemon is laughing. He takes a Kleenex and wipes his eyes. To me, it was extremely unprofessional. There's a lot of things that you could say on Fox News that people do on a daily basis that are also unprofessional. But what is your reaction to that? Being a Donald Trump supporter, being a conservative, living in Hollywood, what's your take on this?
I mean, well, I'm from the South. I mean, I'm from Florida. So, I don't get wildly offended and get upset because, quite frankly, there are a bunch of stupid rednecks in the South. But with that said,
there are. You're right.
it just speaks to how out of touch the kind of Hollywood elite are, and they're just so baffled because they live in their bubble here in Hollywood where everybody is rich and just drinks lattes and gets their butthole bleached. But like, there is another.
Boy, that's a nice thought.
There is more to this country. Like they don't realize that, the people in Arkansas and the people in Virginia and the people in Kentucky and the people in Georgia, like, don't like them. And there's a heck of a lot more of those people than there are
you're right.
in New York.
You're right.
Until they start embracing that side of society that maybe they don't care for, they're just going to continue losing presidential elections and wondering how they lost because
it's elitism, and I think they're doing a disservice to Democrats. I think they're doing a disservice because I think there are some people out there that are not sure who they're going to vote for, including myself. It's elitism, and it's wrong, and I agree with you. By the way, going back to the bleaching comment, I certainly don't need a bleaching, but I certainly need a cleaning. But we will leave it at that. Yeah.
Come to L.A., man. Every street corner you can find a.
Are you serious?
That does that. Oh man!
Every street corner?
I mean, in West Hollywood.
Wow.
If you want to talk about man, sort of, I mean, we could talk about it off the air.
God.
I don't want you to have to use the dump button, but I mean, it is becoming very popular.
Well, when you use that part of your body, when you talk about that part of your body and you're using the word dump, you have to be very, very careful with what you say.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is it's like massage parlors in Chinatown in Las Vegas, right? Same deal.
No, it's essentially the hygienic things that most women tend to do. It's becoming quite popular for many of the men.
I don't understand that. Like, that's the last part of a female anatomy that I want to be up close and personal with. Maybe I'm just weird in saying that. I don't understand the fascination with that. I just don't get it. I get why women do plastic surgery. I think sometimes they do it for the wrong reasons, and sometimes they do it for good reasons, right? I mean, we had a girl in studio last week who's a former Playboy model, and I asked her, I said, why did you get a boob job at 18? You didn't get it for a boyfriend. No. She said, no, I got it only for me. And I respect that. What I don't respect are the people that you know, the women or men that get it done because of their significant other. I think that's selfish and ridiculous.
And it's disgusting. I mean, I'm very much would love to actually see a woman age rather than look like some Renee Zellweger-esque freak of nature with like a permanent Joker smile. That is so unattractive to me. And you know, getting a boob job is what it is. Like, you know, I know a lot of women who have had kids and things start to sag and they want to, and fine. Like, I have no issue with that. You do your thing.
Parts of my body are sagging too, so I can relate to that.
Yeah, get a mommy makeover, or in your case, I guess, a fat guy makeover. And you know, I don't hate on that at all, and I see that. But obviously, you know, for vanity, and it just doesn't look good. I mean, I knew a woman who was literally getting like wires installed under the skin of her face, connected to her bone to like pull her skin up. And I was just like,
that's sick.
Horrifying. This is disgusting. Like,
I'll tell you, I think it's the Kim Kardashian syndrome, where I see some of these women walking around, and some men too. They look like clowns, right? They've got the lips done, they've got the nose job, they've got the cheeks. And by the way, it's not like we can't see it. It's not like you're faking. Like, I mean, like, listen, when it comes to boobs, since we're on that subject, sometimes you don't know, right? But you look at some people and the plastic surgery they get, they literally look like they can be in the circus. It's just bizarre and disgusting.
No, trust me, it looks bad almost 100% of the time.
I feel bad for them because I think it's got a lot to do with possibly insecurities. And listen, I was born bald. You don't see me with fake hair on my head. You know, I mean,
too, man.
You know,
seen me, and I'm not wearing a toupee, and women love me. And,
now, with that being
my bald head.
But with that being said, if somebody were able to enhance my phallus and make it 3 or 4 inches larger, I probably wouldn't have a problem with that. But that's another story for another show, Mr. X.
You know, I'll send you a pump in the mail. Maybe you can get some results.
Well, you know what? We just had the Porn Expo in town, so I lost my chance on that one. But
there you go. You could have gotten it in person and saved shipping costs.
There's a lot of things. Trust me, there's a lot of things I've could have gotten in person there. But hey, Mr. X, always.
Including STDs, yes.
Oh yeah, that as well. But anyway, Mr. X, always appreciate it, my man, when you come on and sharing your perspective on Kobe Bryant. That was really cool.
Of course,
I think, we're both in agreement there, my man. I always love having you on, and I always love having your perspective. Thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to catching up with you next week. Okay, my man?
Yeah, have a good one.
All right, you too, my man. That's Mr. X, the Hollywood conservative, longtime LA producer in LA. He's actually lost jobs because he is a Trump supporter, which I think is completely ridiculous, by the way. I'm on his side. He's actually a very smart guy, too. And, kind of in the middle like me. He's a Trump supporter, but he's a reasonable Republican. I respect that. We'll take a quick break. Coming up next, Darcy Spears from Channel 13, her Dirty Dining segment, coming up.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/search. That's ZipRecruiter.com/search.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The only FM news talk station in the Valley. 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
Trump impeachment trial. The long days of the trial may be getting to everyone, even the Chief Justice, John Roberts.
Oh, the senator from Washington.
Mr. Chief Justice, I send a question to the desk for the House managers.
Thank you.
Another long day of questions and answers in the Senate, beginning with Justice Roberts for a second time, declining to read the question of Senator Rand Paul, apparently intended to reveal the identity of the whistleblower.
The presiding officer declines to read the question as submitted.
Senator Paul then walked out of the Senate chamber and stepped up to reporters.
I can tell you that my question made no reference to any whistleblower or any kind of person, a complainant from a whistleblower.
He went on to say the name of the person reportedly who is the whistleblower. Prior comments from Senate Leader McConnell seemed to foreshadow the encounter.
We've been respectful of the Chief Justice's unique position. That level of consideration for him will continue.
I'm Mike Moss. The CDC is confirming the first person-to-person transmission of the Chinese coronavirus in the United States. It involves 2 patients, one of whom traveled to Wuhan, China. Correspondent David Culver reports other Americans airlifted from Wuhan are in quarantine.
Roughly 200 Americans arrived back in the U.S. in California. They're in a military base, currently undergoing more health evaluations. Most of them were U.S. diplomats and their family members. We know a few private citizens were allowed to apply for select spots.
Cruise stocks fell today amid revelations 7,000 people are being held on a cruise ship in Italy after a passenger showed symptoms of the Wuhan virus. The drop in the market came as 2 Italian media outlets reported a woman and husband from Hong Kong were each being kept in solitary confinement in the hospital section of an unidentified ship. The Dow down 165 at this hour. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Leonard Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Lowe's. A crash on I-15 southbound at the Southern Beltway remains off to the right. No heavy delays in the area. Volume is light. On the surface streets, a crash with injuries sustained reported on Flamingo at Rainbow Boulevard. Watch for police and fire. Another injury crash active on the airport connector northbound side at the Southern Beltway. Pros do it right by shopping at Lowe's to save on the supplies they need most from the brands they trust to get the job done. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their New Year sale.
From 1878 to 1921, it was America's money. Morgan silver dollars. Everyone carried them, from the famous to the infamous. Teddy Roosevelt, Jesse James. Now, only a fraction survive. And what coins collectors do find, they hoard. But thanks to government.com, you can now own one of these historic U.S. silver dollar masterpieces in collector-worthy condition at a sensational price. A limited number of 1921 Morgan silver dollars have been released to the public. The actual, real, solid U.S. silver dollars. And one can be yours by calling government now at 1-800-222-3967 to secure your last year of issue 1921 Morgan silver dollar at an exceptional government price. Call 1-800-222-3967. Call now and we'll give you a free coin catalog just for calling. Call now to secure your silver coins. Plus, get your free catalog just for calling. 1-800-222-3967. That's 1-800-222-3967.
Have you been lied to by Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine? Hi, I'm Inc. Magazine best-selling author Brett Kitchen, and if you're over 55 with an IRA or 401k, I want to give you a free copy of my new book, Wealth Beyond Wall Street, because according to Time Magazine, Wall Street's 401ks have failed millions of Americans. After losing 35% in my IRA in the crash years ago, I said enough, and since then I discovered a way to grow money potential double digits, reduce taxes dramatically, and also have my money protected when the next stock market crash hits. When the next market crash hits, you lose nothing. Call Wealth Beyond Wall Street now to get your free book and talk to a specialist to discover this little-known strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose in the next market crash.
Call 800-436-8181 to discover this asset that people like Walt Disney and JCPenney use to grow wealthy. Plus, get one of just 97 free books left. We even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call 800-436-8181. 1-800-436-8181. That's 1-800-436-8181.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 1015 FM, 720 AM, KDON. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. By the way, a reminder, we're going to have an update on the Michael Avenatti Nike trial from Larry Neumeister. He is an Associated Press reporter actually in the courtroom, so we'll get an update on that coming up at the bottom of the hour. But hey, man, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. It's time for some dirty dining, folks. Hopefully you have a good appetite and ready for it. Darcy Spears does a fantastic job from Channel 13, and she joins us right now on the line to talk a little bit about what she found in the last week or so. Darcy, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning, guys.
Thanks for joining us. All right, so I want to start with a troubling restaurant because it's troubling for me, I guess, Darcy, because I have frequented there. It's a block down the street from my house. It's right down the street from the radio station. It's a place called Side Street Pho and Grill. I've actually had a few dates there as well. I thought they got sick because they had to look at me all night, and now I'm thinking they might have gotten sick. It wasn't my fault. It was the food. So what can you tell us about this?
Well, Side Street Pho, and yes, it's pronounced pho, I have learned from many repeat offense in terms of pronouncing it wrong. But Side Street Pho is in trouble with the health district, not just for this inspection, but for back-to-back failed health inspections, which means they did it wrong and then they did it wrong again. The most recent one, health district came out there because they got a consumer complaint from someone who said, "There's a hair in my soup." It's obviously one of those totally cliche things, but, it does happen. So they went out there to investigate that customer complaint, and while the health district, they have to witness, they have to find the exact issue in order to validate the complaint. So they didn't happen to find a hair in soup on the day that they went, but they found so many violations during the complaint investigation that the place ended up with that 33 demerit C grade. And the violations are the kinds of things that, can potentially make people sick. Stained and dirty cutting boards, excessive grease and dirty buildup under equipment, meat in the temperature danger zone, peanut sauce hanging out on the floor, buildup in the ice machine, the stuff that you don't want to have happening in a very popular restaurant. I mean, this place has like 800 Yelp reviews, so definitely a good customer base.
So let me ask you this, Darcy. What would you be doing if you were sitting at a restaurant and you found a strand of hair in your soup? How would you react to that?
So I'd be totally grossed out, for starters, and I could hear my photographer in the background going, making vomit noises. I would kindly bring it to their attention and let them know what was going on so that they could go back in the kitchen and deal with whoever's hair might be falling out.
Oh, that is, well, I'm not the culprit of that because I don't have any hair. So maybe I should be working at that restaurant. Anyway, if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Darcy Spears, 13 Action News, the Dirty Dining segment, which airs on 13, does a great job. Let's talk a little bit about a place called Chopsticks Express. It's located on Windmill and Eastern, and my understanding as that cockroaches played a factor in this. Oh my God.
I mean, you may want to call it Cockroach Express. I don't know. Needless to say, again, another customer complaint. People are really getting very vigilant out there. They're doing the see something, say something when it comes to their dining experiences. So once again, a customer complaint to the health district brought inspectors out. But this time, they did see what the customer saw. Apparently, the customer found more than one roach in their food, took pictures of it, sent it to the health district. The health district gets out there and goes, "Oh, yeah, there are a bunch of roaches around here." So they did validate that complaint and shut the place down.
Oh, my God. How does that happen?
Their most recent health inspection showed that pest control inspection showed that there were conditions that were conducive to pests that they needed to fix. They had to get rid of the grease. They had to get rid of the food debris. That's what their pest control guy told them, but they didn't do that. And go figure, the roaches were there despite the pest control treatment.
How does that happen? Okay, we hear about cockroaches in the restaurant itself, and that's disgusting enough. How the hell does, first of all, a staff member serve it? I mean, how does the chef or whoever's making the food not see a cockroach in the food? And how does the waitress or waiter not see it and serve it to a customer? How does it get to that point?
Maybe they're stealthy and they camouflage themselves and they look like
Oh,
the
my
food,
goodness.
or they're somehow they get cooked into it and nobody sees them. I feel like I want to throw up just having this conversation.
Oh.
But yuck and double yuck.
Oh my God, that is just awful. Jeez. So what's going on with them now? Are they back up and running?
They are. They did the deep cleaning that they were required to do by the health district, and they did get back to a 0 demerit A grade. Surprisingly, the next day, and I know a lot of people go, wait, how? Why are they able to do that? If you clean up, maybe you spend the whole night cleaning, who knows? But if you get rid of all the evidence of the roaches and you clean the place up and you call the health district back the next day and they don't see anything, then you get to be open again, and that's what happened in this case. But they were very apologetic and they were very nice, and they didn't try to disguise or, distract from the problem.
Yeah.
They said, it happened. We cleaned up, and we sure hope and we're sorry, and we sure hope it doesn't happen
Well,
again.
listen, if you're going to serve me a cockroach, at least give me some yum-yum sauce or some barbecue sauce. I just need a little bit of flavor in that.
I bet there was.
There might have been. That's very possible. All right. So I eat frequently at movie theaters. I eat like a child. I like peanut butter and jelly. I like my slushies. I'll always get like an extra buttered popcorn and a slushie because I enjoy spending $35 for popcorn. But there's a place, there's a snack bar there that you went to. It's called the Tropicana Cinemas. I don't think I've ever been there. Tropicana and Pecos. You went there a few weeks ago. What did you find?
I think it's one of those kind of discount movie houses where movies that have been out for a long time, you can go and you can see them for a reduced rate.
Oh.
In fact, when I was on the phone with them, there were so many customers coming in because I could kind of hear them taking tickets and directing people to your theaters here, there, like $2 or $3 movies type of thing. In any case, the thing that kind of stood out to me about the complaint at Tropicana Cinemas, because again, this is the third place and a third customer complaint brought inspectors out to check this place out. The complainant saw an employee use the bathroom and then go straight back to food prep without washing hands. And then according to that complainant, when the customer brought it to the manager's attention, the manager, quote, was okay with the employee not washing hands after using the bathroom. I don't know why the manager would be okay with that, but that's what the complainant told the health district. The health district investigated. They did document improper hand washing, inadequate hand washing facilities, and they actually shut the snack bar down. Supposedly there was some kind of problem with the Instahot, and they were waiting for a part. But you have to not serve food when you're in the midst of a substantial health hazard.
Oof. So what's the deal now? Are they back up?
Back open, 0 demerit A grade. That was the next day, reopening as well.
Ugh. So $2 or $3 for a movie, though. The only consolation prize to that is you might vomit or you might get sick from eating their food. That's the only issue. I guess you get what you pay for, I guess, right? Jeez. Oof. Perhaps. All right, Darcy, give us the information. People want to not just hear you on our show, but actually see you on the tube. Tell me when your Dirty Dining segment gets air on 13, and how do people follow you?
Every Wednesday night at 11 p.m., stay up late, be my date, let's go Dirty Dining. If you're too tired, shame on you. But anyway, we'll re-air it again on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m., and of course, it's always available online at ktnv.com. We have a special Dirty Dining page.
Yep.
My Facebook page. We tweet it out as well. I'm at DSPINV13 on Twitter. You can find it on YouTube, on our KTNV channel. There are so many ways to go Dirty Dining.
Darcy, I just have to be unprofessional for a second and say, whenever I hear an attractive woman like yourself say the word date and dirty in the same sentence, it turns me on. I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? I'm going to be inappropriate.
Silly me for making that suggestion.
Have to be inappropriate but honest at the same time. Darcy, we love what you do. Thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to your next Dirty Dining segment with us next week. Thank you so much.
Bon appetit.
Thanks, Darcy. I love having Darcy on the show. She's awesome. She's so good at what she does. What is your worst nightmare if you're a restaurant owner? Darcy Spears starts walking in with her cameraman. Actually, that's your worst nightmare if you're a customer, too. I'm just waiting for the day I'm having pho. I call it pho. I'm waiting for the day that I'm in one of these restaurants and I'm eating something, and then Darcy and her cameraman walk in, and now all of a sudden I'm taking my fork and knife, and I'm searching for a cockroach in my food, and I'm panicking. I'm just waiting for that moment to happen. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, this is a really disturbing story. And we don't have a ton of information on it, but I think it's important that we report on it. A UNLV player has just suffered a heart attack. Good news is he's in stable condition. What was he doing, and how does a young man like that get a heart attack? We'll explain that coming up, and also a reminder, coming up here in about 15 minutes, we're going to be joined by Larry Neumeister. He is a reporter for the Associated Press. He is in the courtroom covering the Nike Michael Avenatti trial. If you're unaware, Avenatti's behind bars right now. In fact, in the same jail cell that they housed El Chapo. So we're going to get an update from this Nike trial coming up at the bottom of the hour as well. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about this UNLV story next. This is the Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
You know that mortgage rates have plummeted to a 3-year low and are nearing historic lows. At the same time, home values have gone up roughly 50% in the last several years. However, they seem to be peaking now. Maybe it's time to put that equity to work by paying off high-rate credit cards, personal loans, or remodel your house. Hi, I'm Wesley Hoagland with Westland Financial. Let us put you in a position to do any of these things with no closing costs. That's right, nothing's rolled into your loan, whether it's conventional, FHA, or VA, will pay your title, settlement, lender, and recording fees. Maybe you just want to lock in a lower rate or refinance out of paying mortgage insurance. All it takes is a 5-minute phone call to see how we can save you thousands of dollars a year. So call Westland at 888-455-3669. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. Call us at 888-455-3669. 888-455-3669. That's 888-455-3669.
NMLS number 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Imagine crossing a street busy with traffic. Against the light.
Watch where you're going!
Wearing a blindfold. Would you do this? Probably not. It's one risk obviously not worth taking. Some risks aren't as obvious, yet could be just as deadly, like the risk for type 2 diabetes. If you're overweight or over 45, if you're not very active, or don't eat as healthy as you should, there's an easy test you can take to find out your risk. It's free, and in less than a minute, you'll know if you're at risk for this deadly disease. Just go to diabetes.org/take-the-test or call 1-800-DIABETES. Because type 2 diabetes is one risk you can't afford to take. Take the diabetes risk test and stop diabetes before it stops you. A message from the American Diabetes Association.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, so glad you could join us. Again, a reminder, coming up here in just a few minutes, we will be joined by Larry Neumeister. He is a reporter for the Associated Press, giving us the latest on the Nike trial that has taken place, of course, involving Michael Avenatti. But a story that just came out, it's sad, it's troubling. We've heard college football players having heart attacks. Some have even lost their lives. High school kids. We don't know exactly the circumstances, but I certainly want to get the details. This involves a UNLV football player, and our producer, Jason Stein, here, giving us an update on what exactly took place. Jason, what exactly is this all about? Give us the specifics.
Well, we don't know much, like you said, Brian, but we know that Tuesday morning, the football team was having some sort of workout, and this player, Darren Williams, 22-year-old senior, had a, quote, medical episode. We now know it was a heart attack. And He is now in the hospital in stable condition. I guess he had to be put into, this is according to his father, he had to be put into a medically induced coma for 72 hours before they could test and diagnose the cause of this heart attack.
Oh my God, so this is obviously extremely serious. Now listen, I'm not a doctor, but a heart attack could be put on, but he could have heart issues that maybe he was unaware of, or it could be dehydrated. There's a lot of things that could cause something like this to happen. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'd be speculating. However, when you hear of a kid in his early 20s who's obviously a fantastic athlete,
Turned 22 on Monday.
Yeah, tremendous
So
shape.
Just turned 22.
It raises eyebrows, and there needs to be some sort of investigation. I would hope there is. We need to find out what caused this. What exactly was he doing? Do we know what he was working out?
Yeah, they were having a workout on Tuesday morning. UNLV says being treated by doctors. His family is at his side. Their statement says, quote, "The thoughts and prayers of the entire UNLV community are with him and his family." So this is a very serious issue. Williams played 5 games as a junior last season, rushed for 79 yards and a touchdown. He's a transfer, actually, from Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College, rushed for 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns in 2018, and was named the Southwest Junior College Football Conference MVP. Obviously a very healthy and talented athlete.
And nothing in that article suggests that he's had any issues like this in the past.
Nothing in this article. I'm getting all my information here from the Review Journal, and then, of course, the story has gone national. But no other specifics. I don't know if Coach Arroyo, we just, of course, the school just hired Coach Arroyo to take over for Sanchez. And so I don't know if this was like the first workout or one of the first workouts. I don't know if Coach Arroyo was there. I don't know if we just don't know. We're going to have to find out in the coming days.
My question is, why are you talking so slow? Well, we just don't know Coach Sanchez. We just hired Tony Sanchez.
Am I?
We just hired Arroyo. We just don't know what happened. Is it just me, or you're just talking differently today? I don't know. Maybe it's the way
I'm putting on my reporter voice.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right, we go to reporter Jason Stein.
Look, dude, we got 7 minutes left in this segment. I got to slow down because there's not much we can say about this.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I believe, and you tell me if you disagree or not, I believe it's very fair. We need to find out exactly what he was doing that day. Just saying that he was in a workout or a warm-up is not enough. I want to know exactly what he was doing when he had this heart attack. Again, I'm not saying anybody at UNLV is responsible. I'm not saying anybody on the coaching staff's responsible. We don't know. We need to find out. It could be that the kid just had some sort of heart ailment. That's very possible.
He could have a pre-existing heart condition, and then the smallest bit of strenuous activity could have just been the final straw, or was the workout so intense that it pushed him to a heart attack? We don't know. I hope it's not the latter.
I hope not too.
But again, UNLV's offering the proverbial thoughts and prayers.
Well, we need to get more information. And, it's weird because, it comes at a time where there's a lot of positive things going on at UNLV. They have a new football coach. A lot of people are excited about that. We'll wait and see if it produces results. But certainly T.J. Otzelberger is producing results. The basketball team is playing very well. I think so far, at least, certainly in conference, they've exceeded expectations. And he's done a good job.
And they got another game coming up Saturday, right?
Yes, they are playing Saturday, and I thought they were on the road against Colorado State.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think they're on the road against Colorado. Colorado State's playing well too. That coach has done a really good job. And we just had former Colorado State head coach Larry Eustachy in studio a few days ago, just talking about Kobe. And look, you want to talk about a guy that pushed players mentally? It was Larry Eustachy, but not. I don't think physically. Football's a different animal. We haven't heard a lot about, and correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't heard a lot of this stuff going on the basketball court. It's usually the football field. Yeah, I remember, I was watching the Boston Celtics game. I grew up a huge Celtics fan. And no, I'm not talking about Len Bias. That was drugs. I'm talking about Reggie Lewis.
Yeah.
I grew up a huge Reggie Lewis fan. It was towards the end of Larry Bird's career. And I think that was Chris Ford was the head coach at that time. And Reggie Lewis, you want to talk about a tragedy and another great man that we lost too early. It was Reggie Lewis. And I remember watching him in a game. I was watching it live. And he stumbled. And he fell down. And he collapsed. And then he got right back up, like a minute later. He got right back up. But everybody was like, wow, that was really weird. He was getting ready to check in, and I thought maybe he tripped or something. But he collapsed, and it was bizarre. And then it was a month later, he died.
Well,
a couple
when you have
months
a
later.
heart attack at that age, and in this guy's case, in Darren Williams' case, just turned 22 and he has a heart attack?
Listen, I'm not trying to say that he might have been on something, but I'm just going to, in general terms speaking, young men who have heart attacks are usually messing around with either drugs or steroids. And again, it could be a lot of different things. I don't know. It could be that the man just has a heart issue. I don't know. All I'm trying to say is we need to find out what was in his bloodstream. We need to find out exactly what he was doing at that time. Was he pushing himself too far? Was somebody else pushing him too far? Or is it just a case where they found something in his heart that showed that he had some sort of heart ailment that he was unaware of? It could be any of those things. We don't know. What we do know is that it's not a natural occurrence for anybody at the age of 22, let alone a college athlete, to have a heart attack. That is not a normal thing that happens to somebody.
He played high school football in Oklahoma. Listen to these numbers. 5,300 yards and 64 touchdowns in 3 seasons.
Jesus Christ.
What a star, huh?
Jesus Christ. It shows you how tough college football is. Because he's not that same star, certainly.
Right, with UNLV.
I know, I believe he's had a few injuries this year, but yeah, we need to find out more information on this. There's no question about it. That's very troubling. And as UNLV and put their sentiments in, we'll say the same thing. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family and his friends and to UNLV. This is horrible. Obviously, if he has some sort of heart issue, he's probably never going to be able to play football again, I would imagine.
And I do actually want to clarify one thing now that I'm reading this from the Review Journal. UNLV is actually not naming Williams by name. That information came from his father. Williams' father posted something on Facebook. So UNLV said a player had a medical episode. And to clarify, it was while warming up for a team workout. So it was prior to the actual workout on Tuesday morning. There was some kind of warm-up before the workout. I don't know. I'm not an athlete. I don't know what they do to warm up. But this is what UNLV is saying. That's when this medical episode happened, and that's when he was taken to the hospital.
A little weird that his father releases the name, but UNLV doesn't. That's a little strange. I don't know.
We'll be following this one.
I don't know what the proper protocol is for that. If that is true, that he was just warming up, again, we need to know what was in his bloodstream. And again, I think it's a very fair question to ask.
Well,
what
sure
did he have in his
answers will
body?
come out.
What did he have in his body? Luckily, thankfully, he didn't lose his life.
Yeah, and I hope he'll be back on the football field, and I hope he'll be okay in very short order.
I don't know how that's possible. How can you have a heart attack at 22 and then play football? How could that happen?
I just hope he's okay, period.
That's for anybody at any age. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It sets you back. No doubt about it.
It's just crazy. So I had an episode when I was in college. I played college tennis and college golf, the two manly sports, by the way. And I remember I'm playing tennis. I was 21 years old, and I never felt this pain before. It felt like I was having a heart attack. All of a sudden, my chest, I felt horrible pain in my chest. And this wasn't indigestion. It was a different type of feeling. I felt my heart was racing really fast. Coach told me to sit down. I was freaking out. I didn't know whether he needed to call my shortness of breath. It felt like I was having a heart attack. And Coach looks at me. He's like, I don't want to give you mouth to mouth. Tell me, do I need to call an ambulance? I sat down. A couple minutes, it went away. But it was a very scary situation. So I go to the doctor, and it turned out I have something that is not serious. It's called Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. It means my heart beats a little differently than the average person, and I just can't take adrenaline. I can't take like epinephrine, adrenaline, the kind of stuff they give you at a dentist office or something, or the kind of stuff they give you to get your heart start pumping again. But I haven't had, I'm not on any medication for it.
Just Viagra?
No, I'm not taking Viagra either, but if I did want to, all I'd have to do is go into your medicine cabinet. I know that. But thankfully, I've never had that episode like that again, but it was very scary. Luckily, I don't have any severity. You know, I don't have a serious situation where I can't exercise. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to be shortness of breath if I go up a flight of stairs because right now I'm in horrible shape. But
and sometimes you don't know until it happens. You have no idea that this even existed. There was no warning signs.
Well,
it's pretty scary.
Yeah, it is. It's thoughts and prayers to the family. All I know from my personal perspective, I just want to make sure the doctor looks at me and tells me I am still healthy for sexual activity. That is very important to me.
I get chest pains all the time, but that's because I put sriracha sauce on everything.
Oh, really?
So it's a burning.
Really? Really? That's interesting. All right. Well, Stay away from that.
I'm getting too old for
If I ever want to get at you, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that sauce all over your food. All right,
Oh, I
Jason.
love it.
All right, Jason. Thanks for coming in and sharing that with us. Thoughts and prayers with his family, no question. We'll get more information out there. Coming up next, an update on the Michael Avenatti trial involving Nike. Larry Neumeister is from the Associated Press. He's covering it. He's going to give us a live report coming up next.
Special report, Trump impeachment trial. The president's defense lawyer, Jay Sekulow, says the House is looking to block American voters from deciding whether President Trump should get a second term.
The Speaker allowed the articles to linger. It was such a nationally urgent matter that they could linger for a month. So we think that this points to the exact problem what's taking place here, and that is, as my colleague, Mr. Cipollone, has said, this is really taking the vote away from the American people. Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice.
For a second time, Senator Rand Paul attempted to get the Chief Justice to read the reported name of the whistleblower.
Mr. Chief Justice,
Senator from Kentucky.
I have a question to present to the desk for the House Manager Schiff and for the President's Counsel.
But Robert said as presiding officer, he declined to read the question as written. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Valley Auto Mall. A crash I-15 southbound at the Southern Beltway that is still a factor. Vehicles are off to the right, no through lane blockage, but watch for precautionary slowing. There is slowing on I-15 on the southbound side, but it's further north. It's between Charleston and Spring Mountain right now, 15 south. On the surface streets, a crash. Injury sustained reported Flamingo at Rainbow. The Valley Auto Mall is over 7,000 vehicles to choose from. Shop, search, and compare in one convenient location. Visit the Valley Auto Mall in Henderson. It's the biggest one of all. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
You don't always know you're making history when you're living it. But if you're a business owner, you can help shape Southern Nevada's water future by conserving today. Replacing useless grass with water-smart landscaping and investing in water-saving technology has never been easier. Big rebates are available at snwa.com. Do your part to conserve. Be a founder of our future. SNWA is a not-for-profit water agency.
If your business is in need of office furniture, look no further than Office Furniture Concepts. From executive furniture to workstations, conference tables to reception furniture, and more, Office Furniture Concepts has got you covered. With true commercial-grade quality at competitive prices and knowledgeable staff, it's no wonder Office Furniture Concepts has been serving the Las Vegas community for over 2 decades. Visit Office Furniture Concepts showroom on West Tropicana at Arville or call 702-873-8555. That's 702-873-8555.
My name is Ruth Rusi, and this is how I live United. I read to children as part of United Way's education program. It helps them create links between language and literacy and prepares them for a better academic future. I figure I have the time and they have the need. My name is Ruth Rusi. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 1015 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us on a Thursday. I met Michael Avenatti 6 months ago. He decided to come on our show. He's been on our show every week, except for the last few weeks, because he's behind bars. And I had a chance to hang out with Michael Avenatti, had dinner with him a few times, even played a little blackjack with the guy. And I'll be honest with you, I enjoyed hanging out with him. Smart guy, entertaining, great guest for our show. And I've enjoyed it. I really have. And I hope he didn't commit any crimes. If he did, he's going to have to pay for those crimes. As I've said over and over again, when you go after the most powerful people in the world, you better not have any skeletons in your closet. He's never been convicted of a crime. He's not a criminal. So we need to explain that right now. But he is on trial for his life. And he's got a lot of issues going on, particularly right now. It is the Nike issue, where Nike is claiming that he tried to extort them out of $25 million. Testimony going on right now. Opening statements were yesterday, and the gentleman that's joining us on the line with us right now, he's from the Associated Press. His name is Larry Neumeister, and he's been reporting on this from the courtroom, actually. Larry, I appreciate you taking some time to join us. How are you?
Good.
it's been a good trial so far.
So, Larry, let's start from square one. How did the jury selection go? And is Michael Avenatti's attorneys confident that they have the right people on the jury that are not biased?
Well, you never know that until the trial proceeds and you get a verdict, and so I'm sure the lawyers hope they have the right jurors on the jury, but you just never know at the outset.
Sure, I understand that. Yeah.
I'll tell you, though, today's testimony has been very interesting because it's a guy, Scott Wilson, who represented Nike in his negotiations. Well, what Avenatti's team would call negotiations last year. It was actually March of last year. But Scott Wilson, the lawyer, who actually worked for the David Boies law firm. And David Boies, I don't know if you remember, back in the Tide 2000 presidential election, David Boies represented the Democratic Party before the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a very successful law firm with about 100 lawyers. But in any event, at the time, Scott Wilson was working for the David Boies law firm and representing Nike. And today he described Avenatti's, what Avenatti would describe as negotiations, he described as a stick-up. Saying that Avenatti was claiming he would basically create a media firestorm that would really damage Nike's bottom line and drive down the volume or the value of its stock by billions of dollars unless Nike paid him between $15 million and $25 million.
Wow. So that's interesting testimony today. I just want to go back to yesterday, if I may, the opening statements. Sure. Did anything yesterday in the opening statements from both sides stand out to you that you can share with us?
Well, I think I think from the prosecutor's standpoint, they believe this was extortion, and that Avenatti went way over the line of what a lawyer can do when he's negotiating a contract, and from Avenatti's side, they want the jury to conclude that this is the kind of thing that goes on behind the scenes with lawyers all the time. And of the three trials that Avenatti faces, this might be his easiest chance to perhaps win.
I agree with that. I do agree with what you just said, and I've had private conversations with Michael, and he's said that similar thing. He believes he's going to win this case. He's told me that. He's very confident in the Stormy Daniels thing. But one of the things he told me, and I don't think he'd mind me saying this, is that he was concerned about the California case. Can you talk a little bit about that, if you've been following that?
Yeah, I'm not really deeply informed on the particulars, but the California case is difficult for him. First of all, because it's been investigated over a long period of time, and prosecutors have had plenty of time to study off his bank records, all the documents describing what should have happened when there were settlements on behalf of clients, tracing where the money went. And so if he did things that he should not have done with money that was awarded through court victories or whatever, it's going to be pretty hard to say it never happened, because bank records and phone records and everything else are kind of set in stone.
Sure.
You can't really contest those easily.
Sure.
But the Nike trial is totally different because there have not been a lot of cases like this where a lawyer or anyone is being accused of this sort of extortion. And I imagine there might be a greater latitude for jurors to reach their own conclusions as to whether they think Avenatti's state of mind was that he wanted to extort money, or was he just trying to get the most money he could out of a negotiation.
He is Larry Neumeister with the Associated Press. He's covering the Michael Avenatti trial right now as we speak in New York. Okay, Larry, let's talk a little bit about Michael Avenatti, his presence in the courtroom, his demeanor, because as you know, We've covered this. He has been in a brutal cell that Al Chapo was in. He's in solitary confinement 24/7. My understanding is he's only allowed one social phone call a month. This is a man who lived a very lavish life. He's had over $1 billion in settlements. He had the nice cars. He had a private plane. He was going to the nicest restaurants. You know, the man had a lot of money, right? I don't know if he still does, but now he's in a jail cell 24/7. So talk a little bit about that and talk about his demeanor and what does he look like in the courtroom?
Well, in the courtroom, he actually looks like he always has. He's very animated and writing lots of notes, studying papers, passing notes to his lawyers, talking to his lawyers constantly. At one point, when the witness today was speaking of him in a negative way about the way he was threatening him with media coverage, he was shaking his head no. And, he just looks like the guy who you saw on TV dozens of times.
Yeah. So how much longer do you think this trial is going to go?
I think the trial will go, it's projected to go 2.5 weeks. It could end even before that. I think prosecutors have said their case will take like a week or a week and a half. That's about it. One thing I want to say, though, you said he was limited, like one social call a month or whatever. They've relaxed some of those rules for him.
Good. Good.
And I think now I think he gets a social call every day.
Good.
I recall the records on that. And I'll tell you, he, like I said, he looks like he always did. You know, I covered the Epstein case over the summer, and when he tried to commit suicide at one point and then later did commit suicide, when he first came into court, he was very active with his lawyers and everything. But after his first suicide attempt, boy, he just looked like a really depressed person and would barely move in court. So, it's encouraging. You want to see a person looking like they always do. And in Avenatti's case, he looks like he could go on TV in the next hour.
Well, that's nice to hear. I think mentally he's a tough guy, and I think that'll help him through this. A couple more questions for you, Larry.
Yeah.
Let's start with the makeup of the jury. How many men, how many women, and how have they been reacting?
I believe it's split 6 and 6, 6 men and 6 women, and they're just studying the evidence. They have little TV monitors in front of them. Like today, there was a video show of the meeting between Nike lawyers and Avenatti. I guess because it was surreptitiously done. At one point, he's in the picture, and then somehow or another gets turned on another lawyer, and you only see Avenatti through his reflection in like a piece of glass.
Wow.
Through the rest of the video, so it's a little bizarre.
Wow.
But yeah, the jurors are just looking down at their monitors. I'll tell you, they're not falling asleep. This isn't. I've seen plenty of trials where jurors actually do look like they're falling asleep.
Well, that's good to
not
know.
One of those.
We want them to do their due diligence. All right. So what is he facing if he's guilty, and does this have to be a unanimous verdict?
Yes, it does have to be a unanimous verdict. So, if it's not a unanimous verdict, he's not convicted or exonerated. The other option is that the jury deadlocks, and it only takes one person to deadlock it.
Right.
11 want to acquit or 11 want to convict. And one person disagrees. It's just a hung jury, and they would have to do it all over again.
Well, Larry, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, Larry, first of all, let me just say I appreciate your diligence and your reporting, and thank you for your perspective. Love to have you on again, maybe for a segment next week, so you could give us an update. And I really do appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Larry. That's Larry Neumeister from the Associated Press. Wow, I didn't know he also was the guy that was in the courtroom covering the Epstein trial. My goodness, that must have been something. It's interesting what he said, though. Right, Epstein. A short time before he was successful in killing himself, he looked depressed, right? He just looked like a guy that, was down and out and wanted to kill himself, I guess you could say. I don't see Michael Avenatti as that guy. In the time I have spent around him, I just don't see him as that guy. I think he's too mentally tough to ever consider something like that. And by the way, it's important to note he has never been convicted of a crime. So my question is, and I've asked this question before, And I'm going to say it again. I think he's in the situation he's in because he went after Nike, one of the biggest companies on the planet, because he went after Donald Trump for years. I think that's why he's in the position he's in now. I don't know whether he committed a crime or not, but I believe they opened up the books on him. I really do. And I think that's one big part of this. And I think another big part of it is everyone is so partisan on this, right? If you're a Republican, chances are you're probably going to go after Michael Avenatti because he went after your lover boy, Donald Trump. If you're a Democrat, chances are you're probably going to defend him because he went after Donald Trump and he was involved in the whole Stormy Daniels thing. And he's the main reason why Michael Cohen is behind bars right now. Do you think it's fair that Michael Avenatti is being treated the way he is, that he is in solitary confinement for 24/7? Do you think it is fair that Michael Avenatti is in the same jail cell that once El Chapo was in? Do you think it's fair that Michael Avenatti is in a jail where there are lifelong criminals in there that have killed multiple people, violent criminals? Is that fair? Forget about your political bias for a second if you have it, and I would assume many of you do. Is this the way you want white-collar criminals to be treated? Is this fair? Or do you think this is political? Do you think that the Attorney General Barr has something to do with this? Do you think that Donald Trump has something to do with this? Do you think the fact that Phil Knight is a Trump supporter and a Republican from Nike has something to do with this? I want to get your thoughts on that. What do you think about the way Michael Avenatti is being treated? Do you think he's guilty or innocent? And how do you think this trial, this Nike trial, is going to go? Give us a call. That number, 702-257-5396. If you want to be a part of the program, again, that number one more time is 257-5396. We will take a quick break, and we'll be back with your phone calls on the other side. This is the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Family Promise of Las Vegas, please leave a message.
I've been laid off my job, so we're facing eviction. I have 2 daughters.
I'm calling for emergency shelter for me and my 2.5-year-old son.
I'm a single father with a 14-year-old daughter looking for emergency shelter.
Join with Family Promise of Las Vegas, where our mission is to bring homeless families with children home again, one family at a time. Visit fplv.org and become a friend of our family today.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
Las Vegas is glitz and glamour, but between neighborhood greenways and marquees lurks the tragedy of homeless veterans. Our nation's heroes who've ensured our freedoms, who haven't escaped the effects of war. Veterans Village is a place of hope, providing transitional housing, meals, and social services to homeless veterans. Veterans Village is a nonprofit that saves lives, but we need you. Please donate today at vvlv.org. That's vvlv.org.
My name is Tim Mullen. I'm the Center Director for USO Las Vegas. We rely heavily on our volunteers. They're the heart and soul of our organizations, the one on the front lines greeting our service members and their guests, whether it's through our lounges at the airport or all the outreach events that we do on base. So we encourage anyone interested in getting involved to volunteer with the USO and support our local military community. Our service members and their families can use your help. You can get involved by going online to volunteers.uso.org or calling us at 702-261-6590.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 1015 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
All right, welcome back. This is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro, finishing up on a Friday. Or actually, see, I have delusions of grandeur. I just said Friday. No, it's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. What drugs am I on today? I don't know. Probably a lot. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Glad you could join us. We've been talking about Michael Avenatti. We've been talking about the Nike trial. We just had an AP reporter give us an update and testimony going on really right now as we speak. And it appears to me that this is what's going to happen. I believe Michael Avenatti is going to be found not guilty. I don't believe he extorted Nike. He's got some other legal issues to deal with. What do you think about Michael Avenatti, a guy who's never been convicted of a crime before, that is in solitary confinement 24/7 in the same jail where they housed some, and they do house some pretty violent criminals? What do you think about that? You think it's fair to put a white-collar alleged criminal, keep in mind, he's never been convicted of a crime. You think this guy should be in that jail behind bars? You think he's a detriment to society? You think Michael Avenatti is going to commit crimes outside of jail, violent crimes? You think he's a threat to society? I certainly don't think so. But I want to get your take on that. 702-257-5396, the number to call again, 257-5396. And, of course, we're talking about the Nike trial, which is going on right now. Let's start off with Frank. Frank, you are first up on the Vegas Take. What do you think of this?
Well, it could be for his protection. And I was in Alameda County, housed with similar people. They were all extremely nice to me. It could be here, like I said, for his protection. I'm not sure he's famous. I wasn't. It was for growing one too many marijuana plants back in 1996, and it was a federal crime. And the feds have a 96% or 95+% conviction rate. So he's got a mountain to climb.
So you were Frank, if we can go back to you for a second, I find this interesting. So you were growing marijuana plants back in the mid-90s. What did you get sentenced for that?
If I went to trial, which I wanted to do, and I insisted on it with my attorneys, I thought I could win. I was looking at, if I lost that trial, it was a mandatory minimum of 10 years.
See, I have a problem with that. I really do,
So
Frank.
do
I have a big problem with that. You've never. I would imagine you didn't have a rap sheet or you weren't a violent criminal. Is
No,
that okay?
not at
I
all.
have a huge
Not even
problem.
a little bit.
Okay, now first of all, it's not like you were on the streets selling 12-year-olds crack cocaine. That's number one. Number two.
Well, that's what the DEA assumed, that all the marijuana went to little kids.
Well, that's
it went to doctors, lawyers, and rich people.
And
So,
now, isn't it interesting that it's legalized in Nevada? I mean, it's just I have a huge problem with that. I call it the injustice system, Frank, where you can kill somebody on the road in a DUI and get 2 years, and you could kill somebody, but yet somebody like you broke the law. Okay, I get it. Why not give you a huge fine and put you on probation and say, hey, knock it off. If you do it again, now we're going to put you in jail. To me, that
because
makes
the
a lot more
government has
sense.
Mandatory minimums.
That's insane. It makes no sense to me, Frank. Okay, so you're telling me you were among other violent, I shouldn't say other.
man.
You were among violent criminals, and you're just a guy that was making weed, was with plants. I mean, is that what you're saying?
Yes, I was 50 years old, hanging out with young kids from Oakland that were in there for murder, and they treated me like gold.
Really?
And yes.
Really?
And
I'm glad to hear
nickname
that.
was Humboldt.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm very happy to hear that. So you were never in solitary confinement, though, or anything like that?
No, but I didn't see the light of day except through a little sliver of a window, but which is better than where he is, I must admit.
Right.
Like I said, it could be he's famous. I was not.
Right.
But the feds have their rules, and it's and.
How long were you behind bars, Frank? How long were you?
2 weeks before I I had to produce bail of $500,000, and it was not a bond. It was assets with family members put up their houses, and it took 2 weeks to get all that put together.
And then what was the end result? What were you? What was the sentence?
I finally got. Well, I had two separate attorneys. I got another high-profile attorney from San Francisco. He went to the prosecutor and said, "What are you offering, George?" And my other attorney wouldn't, because I insisted not to do that. And but this guy went behind my back. They offered me boot camp at 50 years old in federal prison in Lompoc. And that's no longer exist. And that program lasted for 6 months, and then I was in the halfway house for a year after that.
Well, you're doing better now, though, I would imagine, right?
I have a pot farm in Northern California. Go figure.
Wait, so you're telling me that you were behind bars and you were in the loony bin for a little while for planting illegal marijuana. You get out and now you're doing it legally in California. That's unbelievable.
And I'm a general contractor in Las Vegas. So
that's incredible.
And I'm doing fine, but it did take a toll. A long period. I was on probation for 3 years.
Wow.
I got a year or so knocked off of that for good behavior, just because you can apply for it, and I did. And
well, you know what? Amen, Frank. Amen to you for doing something good with your life now and having to go through that. I do not agree with the way you were treated. You obviously broke the law, but at the same time, to spend 1 day behind bars for growing marijuana plants, in my personal opinion, especially a first-time offender, is absolutely ridiculous. And this is why I call it the injustice system. Hey, Frank, I got to go, my friend, but I appreciate you telling your story on the air with us. Thank you so much.
And tell Michael good luck. Like I said, 95% conviction rate, and they mean business. They got way more money than he does.
Well, that's not a good thing for Michael. Yeah, Frank.
Our tax dollars.
I hear you, Frank. I hope that's not the case. I hope he's part of the 5%. Appreciate the phone call, Frank. Thank you. Listen, what I've said a gazillion times about Michael Avenatti, and I'll say it again. I don't know whether he committed a crime or not. I really don't. I've spent time around the guy. I don't know. Here's what I do know. If you go after the most powerful people on the planet, or some of the biggest businesses in the world, like Nike, like Donald Trump, you better not have any skeletons in your closet. You better not have broken the law. Because if you did, they're going to find out about it. I don't know if that's the case with Michael, but he's in a fight for his life. I personally believe he's not going to be convicted in this Nike case. I don't think there's enough evidence to support the fact that he tried to extort them. I believe he was doing his job as an attorney. Based on the evidence that I've heard, I'm pretty confident in that, but he's got other issues he's got to deal with. This guy's behind bars 24/7 in solitary confinement. And I know there's a lot of right-wing Republicans who are, wearing the Donald Trump knee pads that are very biased, that call Michael Avenatti a scumbag, that call him a criminal, that they'd give him the electric chair if they could. Well, those are people that are extremely biased. And those are opinions that I'm not going to listen to, because let's just call it for what it is. You have no credibility. If you're one of those people, and by the way, there's a lot of you out there, like the Tucker Carlsons of the world and the Laura Ingrams of the world, that will never criticize Donald Trump for anything, and rarely will ever criticize a Republican for anything. But when it comes to Michael Avenatti, oh my God, he's the worst person on the planet. Like we talked about in hour number 1, are you that teacher that would call Kobe Bryant a rapist? What is your agenda? Are you a racist? Are you that ignorant? You don't know all the evidence when it comes to Michael Avenatti. You don't know what he did or didn't do. So who are you to call him a criminal? And who are you to say he deserves to spend the rest of his life behind bars? Yeah, Tucker Carlson has said some things like that. Laura Ingraham has said some things like that. Don't you have a responsibility to be honest? It's okay to be opinionated. If you don't think Michael Avenatti is a good guy, that's fine. Tell me your reasons why. I'll hear you out. But it's just like the teacher in the classroom that calls Kobe Bryant a rapist. The right-winger who's never said one negative thing about Donald Trump that wants to call Michael Avenatti a scumbag and a criminal. You have something called zero credibility. Zero. And that is why Republicans and Democrats are going at it right now in this Senate trial. Because you have two sides of the aisle that are playing partisan politics. It should just be about, did the president commit a crime or not? What did he do? If he didn't do anything, let witnesses testify, and it's a done deal. Let witnesses testify, and if he's exonerated, then that's great for the country. Get all the information out there. That's what this is all about. At least that's what it should be about. All right, folks, we're going to take a 21-hour break. My thanks to our guest, Darcy Spears from Channel 13, also Larry Neumeister and Mr. X, and Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars. Sean Hannity is coming up next, folks. Have a fantastic day.
Your home for Sean Hannity